I swear to God. I swear to God, this is one of those days. I'm sure you can hear me now. You can't say still nothing when I had no idea. I had to get John's thing because I wasn't on the chat. I wasn't on the chat. Damn, it's one of those days. You know what? That's okay, though. That's okay. We're all friends here. We're all family. We're all trying to hang out. K West, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. Damn, this sucks. Okay, so let's try that one again because apparently none of that stuff wanted to work properly. It is one of those things. Well, what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by technology is that I had a small little gig this weekend, and well, I had to unplug my computer and unplug things to take it to the gig. And then you go to plug things in and they never work the way you left them. Now everything's out of sync, everything's off, everything's not doing what it's supposed to do. So, see, just like that. It's just not my day today. But we're up now. I think we're up now. Throw it in the chat if we're up now. Because who knows now? I could be talking to myself. Hey there we go. Everybody's saying we're good now. Good. Now, the funny thing is even if you weren't on, I think I'd still be talking to myself. I think I'd still just be doing what I do. And it'd be like the crazy dude with no people hanging out. Sean on the Twitch side, thank you for that follow, man. Appreciate you. I saw DJ Sean from Digital DJ Tips. What is going on, fam? Good to see you. Let's do a little room check here. Let's see who's still on after all that debacle. Lady Beats, moderator extraordinary. She is in the house. What is going on, fam? Good to see you. Now, lady, see, this is why I gave you my number. So you could text me and be like, yo, man, can't nobody see nothing. That's how we do it. That's what we're trying to do here. I got Joe Leonard in the house. I got Ratbone in the house. Ratbone says got YouTube and Mixcloud notifications before Twitch. That is okay. We got Lee Man in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Okay. We'll have to talk about that. We got Woopig in the house. We're going to hop down because I know people have been like, yo, man, say something. Just talk to me. Big Block in the house. DJ Jesse, good morning. Already starting early. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. DJ T Diesel. We're scrolling through fast. DJ Robster, what is going on? Joe Leo TV, welcome out, fam. Thanks for hanging out. Bod Knight, gotcha. Be Love in the house. I'm just going through these threads. DJ Dre. I did say technical difficulties. I did say that. Samuel Patterson in the house. What's going on, DJ Be Love? I already said that. All right, I think I got everybody. Here so far that at least wanted to talk. DJ Styles in the house. William Tharp. Jesse. Anybody else? Ron Treffin. It's Monday. Yes, it is. What's going on, man? DJ DT Jams. Hello. Sing JHB. All right, I think we got everybody here. DJ Six, what's going on, man? Everybody that wanted to be acknowledged. Zelt71, as I continue to scroll down this list here. My sub are dope. What does that say? My sub are dope, really? Rome Steel in the house. My subs are dope. That is one hell of a Twitch name there, buddy. My subs are dope. I like that a lot. Orange Slice in the house. What is going on, fam? DJ Shaggy, thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Mr. DJ Paris Paula in the house representing. That is one half of the Check 1 2 conglomerate. So make sure you give DJ Paris Paula a follow. That's my fam right there. Oh, God. DJ Akishi, present. Louis Aranda. I'll get that right. What's going on? OT Mills. All right. I think we got everybody. We Architect in the house. Can't forget about Architect. Can't forget about that. DJ Chris Fader and DJ Nibbler tuned in from the UK. All right, guys. What is going on? What is going on? It is a Monday, and of course, because it is a Monday, we get to deal with all this bull because it's a Monday, and that's what happens on Mondays. You can't just open up a Monday and everything works perfectly. That doesn't happen, unfortunately. So we are stuck dealing with everything and nothing all at the same time. DJ Singh from Johannesburg, South Africa, representing. What is going on, fam? I appreciate you. So, let's see here. What do we want to talk about today? Now, of course, I do want to mention that for all of you that don't know, in about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, we are going to be bringing on YouTube superstar, Prion Joni. He is a super dope dude. He's one of the guys that I looked to when I started making my videos. So he's going to be on the show in a few. If you have any questions for the man, make sure that you throw them in the chat a little later. And yeah, we'll get to it from there. Now I got to bring up my notes because I always make notes because that's what you have to do. You got to make notes on these types of things. You got to come prepared. You know, if anybody opened up the new iPhone upgrade, I like it. I really do. I do love the picture-in-picture now that you can see on here. It shows like the Twitch feed right here, but sometimes it does get in the way. It really does get in the way sometimes, but I'm not complaining. It's better than what we used to have. Now when I Shazam people, it's a lot easier to Shazam them because the feed tends to go all the way through, makes it super clean. So if you don't have the update, I would definitely suggest that you do that now. All right, now where is my show notes? There we go. There are my show notes. Okay, perfect. All right, so one thing that I do want to discuss, and that is for anybody that doesn't know, the Lakers won yesterday, beat the Denver Nuggets. Yes, 2-0 in the 2-0 in the conference finals. Anybody a Lakers fan out there? Anybody a LeBron hater? Because that's typical when you say anybody a Lakers fan, you naturally have to go to the next question. Do you or do you not like LeBron? Because that is a thing. Some people don't like LeBron. I don't love LeBron. I think he's a great player, but I don't love him. We had this whole conversation a few days ago about LeBron and the fact that Michael Jordan is still the best basketball player to ever walk the face of the earth. And LeBron, as good as he is, does not come close. Does not come close. I don't want to have this conversation anymore. The reason why I don't want to have this conversation is because when duty called and when that man was needed, what did he do? I'm not talking about the last shot, which was amazing, by the way. Okay? Which wasn't him, by the way. I'm talking about the fact that the possession before that, he's got the ball. There's like 10 seconds left. He goes to drive. From what I can see, he has a clear path. Not all the way to the hole, but he's got a clear path close enough to get a good, 10-foot jump shot. But does he take it? No, he doesn't. What does he do? He passes the damn ball. The ball goes out of bounds. We restart the play. Next time we get it to the man. That is why LeBron can never be the best player to ever play. Because he does not possess the killer instinct. He has created a killer instinct, but he doesn't possess that killer instinct. He opts to pass instead of taking responsibility for the shot. That's why he won't be the best. Tell me I'm wrong. Put it in the chat. Tell me I'm wrong. SCE Event Group in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you here. Obviously, I want to see you on here, so we need to work that out. So text me what day you're available this week. Let's get you on. I saw your schedule. I know you're doing a lot of night stuff, and then you have your Thursday chat. Put in the chat. Don't put in the chat. Text me what time you can do this, and then we'll go from there. All right. Now let's see what we got here. Yes, yes, yes. Pre is definitely the best. And I already see him in the green room. See, that's how you know. That's how you know when a man is a professional. When you tell him, we're going to get you on around 10 o'clock, and at 9:40, he's already in the green room like, I'm ready to go. That is a professional. Not like, are you here? It's 10:10. Are you going to get on at any point? I'm texting like, please, somebody get on. No, he's already ready to go. I really appreciate that. All right, let's scroll down here. Lakers for life. 80 channeled his inner Mamba. He channeled something, because definitely it wasn't LeBron. All right, let's see. Shim on Kendi says, I watch your videos regularly. Your content is unmatched. If you have a minute, would love to talk to you about auto loops, especially on songs that aren't analyzed, and just how to use looping correctly. Well, the good thing about all the softwares out there is the auto loops are pretty clean to begin with. In all honesty, I'm not a big fan. Let me correct. I am lazy when it comes to gridding. Okay, so I don't really care. I let the thing auto grid, and it's super fast as far as the auto gridding. I mean, when it scans it, when you bring that song in and it scans it, it's pretty much ready to go after a few seconds. So I just use the auto grid. Like, I don't really go back in and change the grids or whatever. That's never bothered me, probably because I come from a vinyl background. So for me, it's all the same. Like, I just adjust on the fly. But yeah, we'll have to figure out what you mean by that, because it obviously depends on your hardware, because some hardware is going to react differently from the loops than others are. Like, say for instance on this Rain 70, you know, I have my dedicated loop buttons, which makes it super simple. But every hardware is different. But you have to explain what you mean by what you mean, so I can understand a little deeper. We got Cav Queso. What up? James Bond. I agree with you on LeBron. You should, because I'm telling you, man, LeBron, he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And that's okay. You don't have to have it, but just don't run around saying that I'm the guy. I'm the guy that, you know, everybody needs, because when you get to the most important time, when there is 10 seconds on the clock and you don't want the ball, that's a problem. I want my best guy wanting to take that shot. And if you don't want to take that shot, you're not the best guy. I'm sorry. That would make AD the best guy. You know, he doesn't want to take free throws when the game is on the line. He doesn't want to take the last shot. Can't trust him, as Public Enemy would say. Kay doesn't even accept Braun as a Laker at all. Damn. No. Okay, let's discuss this real quick, and then we'll hop on to some actual tech stuff. King James is a different type of player, like Magic. Magic wanted the last shot. Magic took the last shot. Magic wasn't afraid of the weight of the situation. That's what I'm saying. You get that? That's why Magic is technically better than, I mean, you're right. LeBron is a stronger Magic, but Magic never hesitated to take the shot when he needed to, ever. Today, I can't do it today. I got Prion coming on. Let's, you know what? Let's see what the time is like, and if we have a little time afterwards, we'll go from there. SCE, killing me, Smalls. Okay, well, let's drop down here. Best professional rapper. I don't know, man. I mean, he had more coverage, but like, Dame is kind of dope. I can't lie. He's kind of dope. So, you know, everybody's got their fans, but I mean, come on. Can we rock? What's up, Doc? I mean, that's a classic right there. That's a classic. And Kobe was trash, Kobe. That's the one time when you scream, stick to your day job. Like, that's when you do that. Okay. Oh, Mighty Rel representing. That is right. Early is on time is late, late is unacceptable. Agreed. But you know how DJs are. That's DJs are all about doing what they want to do and being what they want to be. You know, it's their prerogative. All right, let's see here. Anybody have any questions before we bring PJ on? Preach and Kobia, thank you so much. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome out. Have a seat. We're chatting. We're about to bring on Prion Joni in just a few minutes. Braun is the man now. Braun is a man. You are correct about that. He is a man. I don't know if I'd call him the man, but he is a man. T Diesel in the house. Exactly. That's all we're saying. Cleveland Cavs outworked them. I don't know. Cleveland Cavs are kind of garbage too without him. I'm sorry. I just got to say what it is. Restream. Okay, so DJ Choose You says restream or play DJ TV. This entire setup that I'm using right now is restream. That's it. Studio, basically the browser-based OBS, everything is restream. I have not really used Play DJ. I'm on their list. I'm supposed to be testing it out. I didn't really realize I was on until I got an email recently. One of the things that I already don't love about it is that the email came through and it said, hey, your hours have been refreshed and now you have, X amount of hours to use it. Any streaming service that doesn't give you unlimited streaming to me is already a red flag. I shouldn't have to worry about where I'm going to use my hours. This isn't like 1998 and, we were paying for an allotted cell phone minutes and we're like, oh, I only got 100 minutes. That's all I got. We're not there anymore. If it's not unlimited, if I can't just stream however long I want to, then it's always going to fail in my book. I don't care how good you are. And if I only get a certain amount of hours and then after that I have to upgrade to some ridiculous fee, which I don't know. So don't quote me on that. I'm not saying that's actually happening. I'm just speaking from my mind. And if I have to pay some ridiculous fee to get more hours, I'm not going to use it. That's just the way. I don't care how good it is. It's just not in the cards. I need to just be able to get on when I want to. Like say, for instance, with this thing right here. This talk show is give or take about 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm already at 10 hours in 1 week. I've already used up my allotted minutes. So for me, I can't use it. Now maybe they're giving me just a little, a little nibble of what this is. Maybe they are. And I'm not really sure. But all I can think of is that if you want somebody to review your product, give them everything. Give them everything. Let me work out the things that I need or don't need. Because if I have to start thinking about, oh, that's right, 5 hours. I can knock out 5 hours in 2 days. Easily. So that's where I am. Now, the beat is sick. Hey, thank you with that old soul, Louie. Thank you so much. Those are actually from Epidemic Music, Epidemic Sound, Epidemic. I use all that stuff for all of my YouTube content. But I have been getting people that are sending me stuff over. So let's see. Royal Singleton sent me some music. So let's take a listen to Royal's music here. This is Royal Singleton. This is his track. And we'll play that in the background as we go through. All right, let's drop down. Okay, DJ Mighty Rel says, I got a tech issue I'm dealing with here. I think this is the one we probably talked about. Okay, it says here, my 2010 MacBook Pro, and I organize my music on iTunes. Okay, my ITO files were damaged, so now I have no more folders and organized music. What do you suggest? So your files were damaged. Your files were damaged and you have no more folders or organized music. Have you tried to re-import everything? Start from the basics? Because if it's iTunes, if you pull in all the files, it should just automatic. Because look, everything in iTunes has metadata stored. So even if you've removed the if it's corrupted, if you just kill that iTunes and then start a new folder, holding down the option button on your MacBook, hold down the option button, click on the iTunes, it'll pop up and say, do you want to create a new iTunes folder, iTunes database? You say yes, then you just pull in all your old music and it should just pull everything in. Now, of course, it's not going to have any of your crates. That's not going to happen because it's a brand new thing. But at least that's a start getting your stuff to be able to play again. Let me know if you need any more, because in just a minute we are going to bring on Prion Joni. Royal Singleton. This is Royal Singleton's track. He's actually on YouTube right now. So if you want to follow him, you know where to go. You know where to go. T Diesel, no, you didn't have to. You didn't have to. But that's where we are right now. It honestly seems like we are going forward and then we go backwards. So we get to a situation, we get to a point where all of a sudden, you don't necessarily need to be tethered to your cable system now. You don't need to have, this kind of one-stop shop. And then what happens? They're like, okay, great. Now, every channel you buy, it's a streaming package you have to pay for. So we've just literally traded out the all-in-one kind of menu system from cable and replaced it with another system that's just online. Disney Plus has 5 stations. You pay a fee. HBO Max has like 8 stations. You pay a fee. Like you can't win. You can't win. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Bala Knight says there's an app that analyzes your music and organizes it to your liking. Yeah, but that's what iTunes does too. iTunes will organize. It'll take your music. It'll take everything that you're, that is named the same, and it'll put it together. Okay, Royal, I will say this right now. That's a dope track, man. That's a dope track. It's so dope, we're going to give you another one. Let's try another one. This is also from Royal. He calls this Royal Knock. DJ Prim 3, or is that DJ Prime? Good morning from SoCal. Hey, San Bernardino representing. How is the weather in San Bernardino? How is the air quality? Because I know that is an issue. How are the fires where you live? That's always an issue. This one kind of reminds me of a little bit of an old school, like Janet Jackson singing on. I like that. DJ Big V in the house. What's going on? Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Nine Iron in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I will talk about the gig log in a minute. Did anybody see the last video I produced, which was over the weekend, about the optical DJ setup? Did anybody see that? Has anybody watched that video yet? Warble Singh says, this sounds like an I'll Be Sure track. I can feel a little night and day in there. You could definitely mix that together easily. That's the thing about making music. And when we bring on Prion, and we'll talk about that. But that's kind of the thing. There's only so many changes you can make to music, because typically speaking, you're never really playing any original riffs or original notes. They've been done before. So you can always find inspiration. You can always find a pattern in anything you make. Like if somebody were to say, here's a new song I just made, I guarantee you, I could find something that sounds a little like it from 50 years ago, because those things don't really change. People are brought up a certain way. They're influenced by their parents' music, and then, as they start to develop their own music, and then as teens and so on. So everything that you've done kind of falls in line with when you start to make music. It's all going to kind of fall together. So it's really interesting, because especially nowadays, it seems like a lot of music is starting to really, you can catch definite historical historical riffs in them. It's just the kind of thing you do. I saw the upside down CD player. All right, so DT Jam says, hey, CT, want to do a Zoom dance party with Twitch? How would I get another remote DJ from different locations in my stream? Easy. You don't do Zoom to do it. You use something like StreamYard. You use something like Restream Studio. Those are the ways to easily get people in and be able to transition from one person to the next. That's why I use this for my talk show, because it's so easy. I can just send the man an invite. He pops right on, and we go from there. Super, super easy. Super easy. Yeah. I know people are being very critical of this man's work, and they're saying it looks like a giant nose, which it does. It does look like a nose. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks like a nose, like smelling the record. I won't lie. But it's not just about the nose. It's about the technology behind it. It's about people attempting to do something different. And that's all we really want. Innovate. You don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I saw a lot of comments. Royal, I'm giving you another one. I saw a lot of comments like, can we just stop? Can we stop doing this? This isn't real DJing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Real DJing is relative. Real DJing is you and your ability to DJ. It's not, oh, because I use a turntable or because I use needles. Now, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. I do believe that every DJ should at least learn how to use turntables, because using turntables, using needles does humble you, does give you the idea of preparing your crates more, being more prepared for when you get on. Because right now, a DJ can just pop on. He doesn't necessarily know the music. Set up the cue points real quick, and he's just going. And there's no, if you're using a controller, there's nothing that can cause you problems right off the bat. So it's a safer scenario. Now, having said that, if you learn on controllers and that's all you've learned on, are you not a DJ? No, I know some dope ass controller DJs. We're going to bring one on right now. But he can also DJ with turntables and needles, because I think you need to do both. So, without saying any more, maybe we should bring on the man. So, I don't know if you guys know this young man here, but this man has been operating at a super high level on YouTube for many, many, many years. He is, I want to say he's known for the fact that he's not only a DJ, but he can play guitar. And he plays guitar while he DJs. And that's something you don't really see, in all honesty. He is a novelty. I've only seen maybe one or two other guys be able to do that. But to do it like successfully and actually be good at it, that's a different story altogether. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I got to get my applause button working here. I don't have that right now, but I want to see those ones in the chat. We're going to bring on Priya and Joni right now. Ones in the chat. Here we go. Hey, you know what? I cannot hear you because I don't have my Bluetooth in. But they can hear you. Where's my Bluetooth? There we go. All right, check. Hold up. I see you popping up. Give me a second. Okay. I think I should be able to hear you. No, I cannot hear you. Can the crowd hear Priyon? Hold on, maybe it's me. Wait. I think I got you. I heard something and then it went away. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you can hear Priyon. Priyon, go ahead and talk for me. Let's see. One of them. Mondays, bro. Can anybody hear? We can hear. We can't hear him either. Okay. I've seen this happen. This happened to Rachel. So Priyan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you off. I'm going to send you a brand new stream key, a new invite. Okay. Have a second. I swear, man. Sometimes Mondays just kick you in the ass. That's one of these days. Come on, messages. There we go. All right, there we go. So I sent him the invite now, and let's see if that gets a little better. So while we wait for Priyan, thanks, lady. Appreciate you. While we wait for him to pop right back on, and that's okay. See, look, this is what real-time interviews are like. This is what happens sometimes where you think everything's good to go, and then nothing is good to go. And then you work through it, and then you get through it, and you have a great time. So let's hopefully unmute yourself. Thanks, Mighty Rel. Appreciate you. So let's hopefully that fixes it, and we go from there. So while we're waiting for him to come back on, it says, while we are waiting for him to come back on, if you have any hardware questions, throw them in the chat. And while I work out this one more technical difficulty, because that's the life we live right now. All right, let's see if we finally got him on. I can hear my computer, so at least I know that part's working. So let's bring him on. Priyan, are you on? Still can't hear you. Check your audio capture and just see if something is. Maybe it's trying to go out of like your mixer or something. I heard a little hiss right there when you did something. Yeah, I'm hearing a hiss. You're probably changing your audio card. Yeah. It's one of those days. Okay. All right. He's going to pull the link from his phone. We're going to go from there. See if that fixes it. All right. Let's take him off. And he'll go from his phone. We'll see. If that doesn't work, then it's probably Restream acting stupid. And life happens. You just can't win today. Papacito says, a record that skips is also learning the record tape to set up your cues would be... Exactly. You know, people, I want to say, if you use vinyl, if you legitimately use vinyl, you know your music a lot better than just setting up cue points. Like you get a new song, cue point in the beginning where there's an intro. You do that. Then you go, okay, let me fast forward. There's a hook, cue point for the hook. Fast forward, cue point for the outro. That is super, super easy. Vinyl, no such luck. Vinyl, it's like, okay, there's the beginning. Let's see where the song actually starts. Okay, now I have to listen to the whole song because I need to know where the hook is, but more importantly, I need to know where I can transition out, because with vinyl, you can't go back. You can't re-loop a vinyl part, and go, okay, cool, now I'm good. Like, you can't do that. So understanding your music is far more important in anything you do than for DJing. The better you know your music, honestly, the better a DJ you will be. Now, of course, you should be able to fly through. If somebody gives you a track and you need to hop on real quick, different story altogether. Like, I can get a new song and know the dynamics of the song and be able to DJ it effectively. But the fact is that you still got to know your music. PJ's opening up a new computer. He's going to bring it on the new computer, which is what we're waiting for right now, just to make sure that it is the computer and not Restream. Hope it's not Restream, because then we're going to have problems. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. Yeah, look, these things happen. There's absolutely no way around it. We just kind of make it work. I'm not using StreamYards. I'm using Restream Studio. It's basically the same thing. Just made by Restream. I've been using this for the past week. I've had 5 different people on. So it's not Restream unless they're having a problem on their service side, but it is what it is. We just kind of work through it. All right, let's see. Can we just yeah, we can definitely talk about this. Here's the problem with Zoom. And it's a simple problem. First off, actually there's 2 problems with Zoom. First problem is the audio compression sucks. Like, it legitimately sucks. So if you're planning on DJing with Zoom, the people on the other side of Zoom are definitely not going to be happy about the sound. Yeah, they'll deal with it. But when you compare it to what I'm outputting, when you compare it to what is coming out of Twitch or Facebook, the sound is just better. Now, before I bring Prion on, I know he can hear me. On your audio meters, do you see them moving up and down, buddy? Yeah, check on there. You should be able to see your audio meters moving up and down if it's working properly. And just give me the thumbs up if it is. So that's one thing about Zoom. The other thing is that you can't cleanly bring people in and out of Zoom like you can with a Restream or a StreamYards. Once you start using Restream, once you start using StreamYards, that's when you actually see that, oh my God, there is definitely something that is cool about this. And that's the flexibility. That is basically me only sending out a invite key. One little invite key. They pop it open, just like Zoom. They can then hit their audio, hit their video, and go from there. That's what's cool about this. Now, what's typically cool about this is you send them the link and then it works like it's supposed to. It's not working that way right now, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means that it's just not working that way right now. Zoom, the compression is so poor that it's never going to be as good as using one of these other things. Restream, StreamYards, BeLive, all of them do a very, very good job if you're just trying to bring people in and go. We had a little more issues with BeLive because that was the one that Tweak Music Tips uses. So we had a little issue with BeLive, which is why he moved over to StreamYards. I used StreamYards for a while. I just didn't like the fact that I couldn't do 1080p right out of the bats. I had to buy like the premium, and but they both do things very, very well. Okay, I still see him doing a little tech shooting here. Are we good? Give me the thumbs up if we're good. I can see you. Okay, cool. All right, so I wish I could softly bring him back online where nobody could see him, but yet he's on there just to make sure. Actually, let's see if I can. Hold on.
What's up?
I can hear you now. That's
okay.
Great. Okay.
That was my fault. It had nothing to do with the computer. I plugged into the wrong channel that I turned up on my mixer.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's the thing, because you were like one of those like 19 channel guys. Like you use every channel possible.
But it's
so
just
I
my
can
Mackie
definitely
Pro
see that.
effects. It's just a little mixer. You would think that I'd get it right, but it's not facing me. Well, anyways, that's an excuse. So
Gotcha.
that was my bad.
Hey, well, it is okay. We're glad that you're on.
Appreciate it.
We've been trying to get together for a while now, so
We
I'm
missed
glad
each
that
other
we
at
can
NAMM.
actually. I know.
Yeah.
And it's funny because for people that don't know out there, NAMM is a big place. There is a lot going on all the time. So when you're at NAMM, it's real easy to get sidetracked and look, did you know that, Craze is at the Beats Junkies thing now, and now you're there and now you've wasted an hour and a half. Next thing you know, people are just like, oh, I want to see you here. Oh, I can't. I got this thing I got to set up for this booth for tomorrow. Like there's so many things going on. So I missed several people, and it sucks that there's no NAMM this year because I really wanted to, to really make a point this time because, I just like you, I'm sure, we've just made so many connections with people that it's like you really become friends. You know what I mean? So it's like you really want to get together with them versus just being online. Now this works too. Like I'm not mad at that. Hold on, let me get rid of my stuff here. Let's bring us both in here so we look like we know each other and we're friends. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So now let's talk a little bit because now last year, I guess it was last year. When did you win the remix session on Freestyle?
Oh, that was 2019 in July. Well, the contest was happening in May, and then we announced it right before July. So it was announced in June.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when it popped up, what made you think about? Because for people that don't know, Prion, he's like an acclaimed like guitar player. Like he's very, very good.
No, I'm not that good.
Well, he's better than me, which makes him very, very good. Because anybody that I see that can riff and do their thing, they're better than me. But what made you incorporate the outside musical elements into your mixing?
I can't pinpoint one time. I think I just kept watching. Like I'm a big fan of electronic music, and I keep watching these. Like before there were San Holos, I just kept watching these trance guys incorporating like an orchestra into their set, or Eller Van Buren, which is Armin Van Buren's brother. He would play along with his brother, and I'm just like, It just kept like. It just kept like cultivating in my head that I need to do something because I do play guitar, and I've done live piano and keyboard playing before, but the thing that made me finally click with the guitar is when I'm performing on a keyboard or on the DJ gear. Not the whole crowd can see it, excuse me, but once I thought about the guitar, when I'm wireless, I can get out into the crowd. I can interact with them. There's more risk involved because it's like you hit the wrong note on the guitar, everybody knows,
Right.
And now that I sometimes live stream my set, everybody knows.
Right. Well, I think it's funny that you mentioned live streaming because I think that's one of those things that people are. I think that's why they're a little reluctant to live stream because they're concerned that people are going to hear every bad mix, every train wreck,
but
every bad scratch.
It does happen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I think that's been holding back a lot of people because they are concerned. Oh my God, somebody's going to know that like I did a bad mix. It's not perfect, where it's never perfect. It's just this world has kind of made you believe. Right. And this world has kind of made you believe that like, no, every mix is perfect. And if you're off, you're a horrible, horrible DJ. You're like, that's not how it is at the club. At the club, there's bad mixes all the time, but alcohol and loud bass can mask a lot of those issues. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because whenever I hit the record button at a gig and I have other people like DJing with me, they start messing up because they know that record button's on.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah. And it's funny because I rarely record my mixes and then I'll go back and go, God, I really should have recorded. Because the moment you are aware that the record is on, you don't want to mess up. Because you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I can throw this on my Mixcloud. I can throw this on my SoundCloud. And now you're trying to be perfect.
That's why playing record hitting record no matter what actually trains you. But
yeah.
my new challenge is hitting record on the live stream at a gig. That like I feel I'm more like I'm a little bit more. I'm like, oh, I can't get away with all the little things that I normally get away with. So
Right. Yeah. It's. I think this has been a humbling experience for a lot of DJs out there, but I think it's also been good because I mean you're live streaming, every so often. Like you don't have a consistent feed.
I don't do a regular schedule.
Yeah.
Only my schedule doesn't let me do that. I wish I could do at least once a week, but when I did it once a week for 1 month, and it was my whole week was committed to that live stream, and like that I didn't even put out videos as much. So because like I was part of a music community where we were all the DJs, like every week we would one up each other. It's like, oh, this guy is gonna add lights, this guy's gonna add a DMX background, LED wall, like that he took from the club because the club's closed.
Yeah, right. That's funny you say that. I can't tell you how much stuff I have that used to be in the warehouse, but I'm like, it's just gonna sit there for the next 6 months. I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're a club DJ. Like that's kind of your trade. You don't do private events or mobile events, or do you?
Nope, I don't do any mobile at all.
Okay.
I've been focused primarily. I used to when I was younger, but I focus more on showcasing artwork and like events like festivals, like underground events. That's my thing. And before it was like when I was doing mobile, mobiles have a longer schedule run, and I would miss a lot of opportunities because I would have like maybe a wedding like booked 8 months out, and then something really, really big comes along, but they're trying to book you like 3 weeks before. So
Yeah. It definitely can mess with you. Obviously I'm from the mobile DJ side, and my partner, he's an MC, and he's kind of a big MC, especially in the LA region. And we book these events, like you said. Like for us, we book 1 to 2 years in advance, and every time somebody's like, "Hey, we want you to come to like Bahamas and DJ for this thing, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, I can't, I'm already locked in to this other thing. So it definitely plays with you. And it's one of those kind of trade-offs. It's like, do you want the fast money or do you want the long money? But if you do well, that could turn into long money. So it's like, it's one of those weird things where you really, it's hard to calculate, which is why being a single op, DJ company is a lot harder than being like a multi-op. Like we now, because of this situation, we don't sell ourselves. We sell the company. So when a booking comes and it's now finally moving to the actual date, and somebody says, "Hey, we want you to do this. We're going to pay you 10 grand." We can just go, okay, because we can send somebody else, and they're not locked to us. Cause that's always a big thing, especially being a single op.
Do you ever get like requests for like, I want Cleveland?
Yes, 100%. We get the DJs, not so much, although I do get it too, just because I'm typically the guy they talk to. I'm the face of the sales part. So they're like, well, we love you. Can you do our event?
You're the guy on YouTube.
They don't even know that that's not even a thing. But like my partner Paris are like, no, we got to have him. We've heard about him. We know he's great, blah, blah, blah. So he's the one that gets locked in. I just tell him, I don't know if I'm going to be there. I got to go where I'm most needed. Any one of my DJs can rock your party. Your party is not any more special than the other party, because that's the one thing about mobile gigs. Everybody thinks that their party is different, amazing, unique. And it's like, no, it's really not. It's just like the other person.
DJ
too. Exactly. Now you are in Des Moines. Des Moines, really. So now tell me about the club life there. And did you grow up there?
No, I moved here from Detroit 10 years ago.
Okay. Gotcha.
Actually, almost 11 years ago. and it's a bar hopping. Well, the city is a bar hopping place, and I also DJ in the college towns, which are a little bit farther away. So we have a pretty strong electronic music scene. There's a music festival here called 515 Alive that I'm involved with. Well, I used to be involved with, and there basically it was that scene that I kind of moved here for, you know. And the weird decision was I'm moving to Des Moines, Iowa, out of all places to advance my music career, and in a weird way it worked out because it gave me opportunities to go to cities like Minneapolis, where I did a lot of networking, which led me to Hot Import Nights, which eventually led me to Pioneer DJ. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like I feel really blessed. I don't plan on moving out of here. I really like the fact that I could come home when I used to tour with Hot Import Nights. I could come home and there's no traffic on the way all the way back to my house. So I leave the big city, come home, and I get to relax. It's quiet time. It keeps me productive here. So,
gotcha. Now you just mentioned that you were DJing Hot Import Nights, and you moved from Detroit. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I moved from Detroit to Iowa because that's where the DJing is. It's heavy and it's like
I was getting booked a lot. That's the thing. So, and
Right.
It was the people. It was the people here were. Like, there's this saying, Iowa nice, and the community here showed me, like, they were very welcoming, you know? So, not to say that Detroit isn't, but when you grow up in a place, it's like you kind of need you have to go somewhere else sometimes just to reestablish and get your head cleared and face new challenges in order to overcome. And that's what Des Moines was to me. I don't think it mattered that it was Des Moines. It just happened to be, for me, it was Des Moines. So
right. So I'm going to assume though, Detroit being so, I mean, it's an urban sprawl. So there's a lot happening all the time, and then you go to Iowa, and is it like moving to suburbia? Like, is it just like all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's so chill. This is different.
It's a
flat.
little bit more small. I wouldn't say it's small town like like Des Moines feels like a city, but you drive 5 miles in any direction, you're back to cornfield.
Gotcha. Okay. So obviously your focus DJ wise is on electronic trance. How trance? That's your thing, or
trance is my favorite. Trance and breakbeat are my favorite, but I like when I play at the club, and I don't put this online a lot. I actually play open format, and my specific thing I do is playing open format to win the crowd so that I can experiment with them later on to the night. Usually in a college town, it usually works out that way. So it's partially playing with the crowd, but later on, like commanding the crowd, because over time when you play in one place, you can mold their taste,
Yes, agreed.
Because once expectations are there that a certain kind of music is there, then people start to go there. Like if you overdo it, then they're gonna stop going there if they don't like it. But once they kind of have a feel that this is the spot and it's fun, then but that happens throughout years. When I first started playing at this place called AJ's in Ames, I was mostly playing hip hop and cheesy sing-alongs, So
of course.
But now during my night, it's like I wasn't even aware of this. The owner had to tell me. He's like, "I like you coming on a Friday." I was like, "Why is that?" He's like, "Well, when Fridays are there, his bottle service tends to sell a little more." And I wasn't even aware of this because I'm on Facebook. These kids are on Twitter,
Right.
So
right.
I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, because they want to see the guy with the guitar who plays when he spins." And for 2 years I was unaware of this. Just come to work, go home,
Right.
But yeah, they told me about that. So it's like, oh, it's cool that it's like it's getting noticed. It's making a difference. So
Right. Yeah. You're becoming, you're a top billing now. Now people are going to see you, which doesn't really happen for a lot of DJs. I mean, yes, people go because they want to dance, and that particular DJ
For the most
plays
part,
good
that's
dance music.
who goes to the club. It's mostly people.
Right.
that-
Exactly. Especially if you're a college town, you know, but you are fortunate because, I mean, I've DJed a couple of college cities and college events, and they are a little more open to experiencing and experimenting with new music. So
It depends. It
Okay,
can be
right.
hit or miss. Some places are like, you have to play that WAP, and
Right.
I mean, and only that, like only play
that
that
version,
music.
yes,
Yeah, original versions, like like just like what you would expect at a college place. So
gotcha.
and-
So
it can really depend.
so you are actually you said you moved from Detroit to Iowa, and then you started working for Pioneer. So how does that transition happen? Is there a corporate in Pioneer, like a big place, or is it they saw you somewhere and they were like, we'd like to bring you on? Like, how does that work?
So what it was I used to produce well, used to, I still do. Did this. I was part of the Asian breakbeat scene where we were doing like these trance break tracks and remixes and releasing them out. And then there's a community of people that listen to that even today. In fact, our group on Facebook grew because of these tracks that I made back in 2008, 2007 to 2009, and these
Right.
little remix albums, these bootlegs that we made. I had some people in Minnesota who listened to them, and I wasn't aware of it. And then some of
Okay.
these folks were promoters, started booking me from Des Moines because it's only a 4-hour drive. I started going there, and one of these guys got involved with Hot Import Nights. Then I started working with Hot Import Nights. I actually do their graphics, and I used to tour to spin on the main stage. And then one year, Pioneer DJ got in contact with them as a sponsor to do a touring DJ battle, and they would sponsor all the gear and
Okay.
loan it to us for every single event. So that's how I met. I remember the LA one. It was the first show of the year, and the Pioneer squad was there. I got off my plane, and it was really scary because I was like, I gotta throw a really good show,
Right.
and I had to rent a guitar, which I don't ever advise anybody to ever do because it's such a personal instrument. Playing on a strange guitar, it's weird,
Right.
So I got off the plane. I got sick. I came down with the flu.
Oh,
and
God.
It was ibuprofens. I gotta make this work. So I did the DJ battle sick. I had to perform sick, and the Pioneer squad liked my work. And then over time, working with Hot Import Nights, there was this little thing that happened in my old condo where I had a burglary, and I had
Okay.
my old CDJ 500 stolen and 4 of my speakers stolen. So I reached
Jeez.
back out to Pioneer to get the Express 15 speakers. I did a review on that, and because of that review that I did, the guys at Pioneer were like, "Hey, you know what? We like your work. We've been watching what you're doing with Hot Import Nights. Would you like to come work at DJ Expo since you know your stuff?" And it's kind of it's crazy how I went from starting like making music, going to Minneapolis, meeting somebody who got into Hot Import Nights, and then from Hot Import Nights had a burglary, and then hopped on to working for Pioneer DJ. So
Right.
yeah.
So no, so where is Pioneer DJ? Is it in Iowa, or do you have to
Oh, no, it's-
drive? Or
It's in LA, Torrance specifically.
well, I know that one because that's
Yeah.
where what's his face works. I always forget his name. But
Drew?
Yes, yeah, Drew. Fuck.
Shout out to Drew. I know he's probably watching, or he's gonna watch this.
Drew, I love Drew. Drew is a unique individual.
He's
to
also
say the
from
least.
Iowa.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's the second
says a
person
lot.
Pioneer from Iowa. Yeah.
That says a lot, actually. Not in a bad way, but it actually does make a little more sense. So you work. So what? You work from home, and then you just
Yeah, I'm a demonstrator, so like the
Okay,
demonstrators are
okay.
all over the actually all over the world because some of the guys, one of the guys is in Dubai right now. So, but
Wow.
the Pioneer DJ USA demonstrators are from mostly around the country. Uh,
Gotcha.
so like we're not working at the office. Well, some of the guys are, but we're not. We're called on during trade shows, and
Hmm.
we every now and then will be consulted upon about other things aside from just demonstration
Yeah,
purposes. So
I'm sure you're also betas for any new product that
yeah.
are they're creating. They send it to you to work
Mm-hmm.
on. Yeah, so that actually makes sense. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Pioneer Connect to actually happen. Uh,
Yeah.
that's just a hint. There's nothing there.
Mm.
It is
No, I
what it
hear
is.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're working on it. We'll leave it at that. That we're working on it. It's slow and steady. Now I know that over the last year, I mean, you've moved corporates what twice now, as far as the main entity that owns Pioneer DJ.
Yeah. Well, this is really bad. I forgot the name of the company that bought us. Because no,
Because
because they're we do our thing. So it's I know
yes,
it's a printer company from Japan.
right,
And
yeah,
but it doesn't it hasn't that's the thing that people I think sometimes don't see is
hmm,
we've been the same company,
yes, yeah.
so it's like the people working here from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago are the same people. Some of them have moved on up.
Yeah, I talked about that and I did a video on is especially when you made the first purchase happened, and I said it's Pioneer going out of business, and then I kind of broke down that it doesn't really matter who the top company that owns you is. They
Hmm.
don't really influence anything you do. They just want to make sure that the bottom line, the numbers that you said you were going to make,
Hmm.
you hit. That's all they
Yeah.
care about.
Yep.
If you hit those numbers, they'll leave you alone. As soon as the
Hmm.
numbers are different, then they're going to go, hey, we might need to come in and check what's going on, tweak a little bit. But it's always
Yeah.
been that case. When I worked in the real world, my company was bought 7 times. I worked there for 15 years and it was bought 7 times. I never left my office. We never moved. We never shrank. It was always the same. So, people get worried about that kind of stuff, which is I get it because they don't understand the corporate world. But it doesn't change anything. So I do want to talk about one thing because I know this is a big thing from. Hold on, what is Queso saying? Latest update for Record Box. By the way, before we jump into what we're going to talk about here, I'm looking at 108 people that are currently watching this, and I'm seeing 60 people on Twitch. I need you guys to move over to Twitch and support the Twitch channel. You know I'm always on YouTube. That's never an issue. But head over to Twitch. Let's get those numbers up because I'm trying to partner up on this one. I have not followed what's going on with the latest update from Rekordbox, but Queso is saying the latest update for Rekordbox removed title. Did that happen?
I can't tell you because I've been working on other projects. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it maybe it's a glitch because I know Title's still working in all the other apps. So I'll have to check that out. I am completely unaware of that, Queso.
We
And
both need to check on that.
yeah, we'll follow up on that one because I haven't heard anything. Nothing has been brought up that they were going to be removing title. Title's still in the other DJ apps, so I don't think it's like a.
I don't use Tidal, so I didn't notice it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I did install it, but it's not like I always have it disabled, like streaming services disabled. So
So you haven't even tried like Beatport.
actually, now that you mentioned it, I have tried Beatport, but then I disabled it a while ago. So yeah, I don't like using the well, I personally don't like using the streaming because sometimes it's like if I get into a set, it's like, oh man, I can't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I get it. I
you
get
don't
it.
have you don't have the same control as when you have the. But I get why it's there. If there's requests and you need it right now, and you know you don't have it downloaded, that's perfectly why streaming is awesome. So
Right. Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about the second thing that you're known for. I know you're the guy with the guitar, but you're also the guy who does not play on any high-end controllers, high-end CDJs. You only use
That's funny.
what people
'cause I
will
have
consider
three-
like
I got two
I know.
3000s that just arrived.
right. No, I completely understand. But it's like you will default to almost like the Fisher Price versions of the controllers. Why did you decide to do that? And you regret it?
Like, no, I love playing because before, when I started on two Geminis, like turntables, DJ gear was just terrible at the entry level. Like, you know, it was like, you can't even take this to a gig. And now it like the entry level gear is, I feel it's so good that you can take, and I do take it to a gig. I still take my SB3 everywhere. And it started because I used to share gear with one of my DJ partners, and we just got booked so much that I was like, okay, I need to lay off the company gear, and I'm gonna just get a controller. And one of my friends actually got the idea in my head because he's a turntablist and he had a DDJ SB, so I got the SB2. And then for some reason I was just like, hey, I'm gonna try the Peter Piper routine on this little thing, and that's how I had this one video that went viral. Using,
I remember that one.
The SB2, and then I was like, this can be a thing. Just keep using the little controller. And there's things you can do on a smaller controller that you can't do performatively on a big controller. You can't pick it up and mess with it. You know, like try picking up like a 1000 SRT and messing with the pitch, and it just became my thing, and it helps me keep my footprint small when I have my guitar effects, because I like to have a tabletop and I have a lot of stuff. So it's not just the entry-level controller. And when I was touring for HIN, one of the things that I found difficult is when you rent gear from a production company and there's something broken on the CDJs, you know, and they didn't maintain it. Or the last person who used it the day before, you just never know. It was maybe out in the desert and it got sandblasted, you know?
Right.
So because of that, I just got tired of playing on gear that like, it's just the anxiety of not knowing. So it became my thing of just putting my SB3 into my luggage and taking it on with me.
Gotcha. Well, that's at least you know it's going to work. You know what you got.
Yeah.
So I can see that. DJ MJ Beats. Yeah, he does the entire Peter Piper routine, even the reverse like that little, like he does that all on his controller, all of it. It's really, really impressive. Now I know that you had said that there was kind of a big deal because you made that video and then some random dude claimed the rights to it.
Oh yeah, like, okay, when I clicked on his it was like a mixtape. When I clicked on it, it sounded identical to Jazzy Jeff's Serato Peter Piper routine. And then when I told him that, he goes, well, I take it as a compliment that you think it sounds alike.
Right.
So I spoke to the guys at Serato, and they're like, okay, we should both just temporarily take our video down so he's not monetizing it, and just go ahead and we'll have YouTube work it out, which YouTube did. So yeah.
So now you're good again. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's YouTube can be a fantastic and frustrating place all at the same time. You know, the way sometimes it's like, okay, they choose today to demonetize you, and in this day, everything's fine, and it could be the exact same situation, but just today they feel like demonetizing you.
Stepping around the eggshells of monetization is really interesting, because what you can do is, like I used to take a product demonstration and talk about the product, and then do an actual demonstration using it. Now I kind of separate that, because if I'm going to be using copyrighted music, it's better to keep it separate, because then at least your main video that everyone's gonna watch is the one you don't want that demonetized. Because I have videos.
Exactly.
I have videos that are 600,000 views that, like, I don't make a nickel.
You don't
on,
make a
you
dime.
know?
My Beat solo review, I use a sample in there, and it hit it. It's at about 300,000 views now, and I just look at it and just like, hey, and people are like, why don't you go back and take the?
You can delete
You
parts.
you can,
afterwards.
but it changes the entire vibe of the video.
That's why I don't.
So I'm
do it
just
either.
like, I'm like, I just gotta leave it there. But so what I do is, and you actually might want to think about this. So when I do product reviews now, I use all of my music from Epidemic Sound.
Okay.
That way, and I'll find like something that's current sounding, royalty free. Yeah, I pay a monthly subscription, and I don't get demonetized anymore. So that's really the only way that or you can do your own. You have your stuff there too. So let's. I want to segue over because I know that this might be considered a little personal, but I know that during the riots and the protests that happened, it seemed like Des Moines was really, and probably because it's college town.
Des Moines itself, I wouldn't say is a college town.
Okay.
Des Moines is the capital city, so it's the biggest city in Iowa.
Gotcha. So I noticed that you took a pretty big stance on the movement, being kind of at the forefront, and it just seemed like there was a lot of protests happening in Des Moines and in the state, I should say.
Yeah.
What kind of triggered you into really wanting to be involved in it?
It's been something that both me and my girlfriend are very concerned with. It's something with having black friends tell you their stories with encounters with police officers, and it's not always a police brutality case. It's just sometimes just like simple harassment. I think I personally have maybe had one instance where a cop was trying to make up something to try to get me cited on, and it's always been my awareness that sometimes these cases aren't just so clean cut. Oh, he shouldn't have resisted. Oh, he shouldn't have talked back. So it's like it's a reality in our perspective. It was a reality. It's also a reality where I spoke to my cousin who is a cop and said that when the uniform is off and she gets pulled over, she's just as concerned with racial profiling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I've watched, and I mean, honestly, total respect for his audio is not coming in right. Very low.
Check.
Carlos,
do you hear me?
Yeah, Carlos, I think you're the only one that's saying that because everybody else has been on for the past 20 minutes and hasn't mentioned the volume issue. So it could be coming from your side for whatever reason. But yeah, honestly though, I have like mad respect for you because I knew you, YouTube, Pioneer, all that stuff, but like I didn't realize the kind of person you were, and kind of watching you, even when it was like the world was kind of over it, like you were still pushing. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is a man that actually believes in what he's doing, because it was kind of the end thing for a minute, but it's like, no, there's the end thing. And then there's people that are like, no, I really, really believe this. Like you're one of them. A guy by the name of, you probably, him, Kid Cut Up. He's a local DJ, but he's Pink's DJ, Cher's DJ. And, and he's been big on it too. And it's like, some people just get it a little more than others. And it doesn't make someone's lack of understanding wrong or your understanding. It's just, it is what it is. And you just get it. And I honestly, I appreciate that. We need more people like you in the world. In all honesty,
really appreciate that. Yeah, because you get critique from both sides. Yeah. Well, not critique from both sides. You get critique from the other side, where it's like, why are you doing this? You know, it's a whole spectrum of different critiques. You know,
Correct.
like you get called a Marxist. You know, you're a communist, and then sometimes it's like it'll just be those subtle little micro ones that like they try to get you. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. And no, and it's just, I just think at this point in time, at this point in where we are in the world, we can't just turn our heads anymore. And I think that's the whole point. Just stop turning your head.
For sure.
You don't have to necessarily agree. You can have your own stance, but stop turning your head like it doesn't exist.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it does.
big time. Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, if you're one of those people that are like, I know it exists, I don't care, I'm happy the way it is, at least you're honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I just don't want you to act like, nope, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything. Like, that's the worst. We don't want that. We want people to eat, just to understand. If you don't agree, do your thing, whatever.
No, for sure.
So, okay, now we've obviously hit this deep subject and probably lost 50 people. I'm kidding.
We've had that conversation before where people would, like, when I would mention my stance on it, I would like have people say unsubscribe. And you've seen that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and it's funny to me because it's like, at some point, first off, anybody out here, the 112 people that are watching right now, if you don't like something and your first response is unsubscribed, that does nothing. That does nothing to us. I appreciate every single subscriber that I have. Every single person that's currently watching. Like, I appreciate that. But you're just one person. And if you unsubscribe, I'm going to be okay. You know, I don't want you to leave, but if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I'm okay with that. And I don't actually want people on that don't like me or that don't share my views, because that doesn't make sense. Like, why would you follow somebody or watch somebody when you're completely against them? Like, that's bizarre to me. It's like the guy that dislikes your video the minute you post it. You know, you're like, I don't understand. Like, why are you even watching my stuff? You know, so unsubscribe doesn't do anything. And I saw that post and I was like annoyed for you that it's just like we're human beings. We are allowed to share and have opinions that differ from yours. We're allowed to voice our opinion. We're not, just because we're on YouTube doesn't mean we're the president. You know what I mean? Like, we can say what we want and it should be okay. We're just humans dealing with the situation like everybody else. So I'd always, just talk about tech. I don't want to deal with this.
It's crazy because it's like our upbringing and the way, just music culture in general came from, like for example, rave culture, the disco culture came from just, like staying away from, how, I guess like when you think about house music, it was Latinos, Black folks, and the gay community coming together, It's the folks that were disenfranchised, and that's what brought out DJ culture. And to say that you can't talk about civil rights issues, it's almost like saying, hey, I just want the part of you that I agree with, and you need to throw out the rest because it makes me uncomfortable,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's weird too, to me. It's always been weird to me when I see things, especially DJs that actually DJ open format, hip hop DJs, whatever, that don't share the opinions of others, people of color, that don't hear what they're saying. You're a DJ. You love black music. You love all of this stuff. But yet when this happens, all of a sudden it's wrong. Like, I'm really confused about how you can be a DJ in this day and age and not have empathy for Black lives right now. Not Black Lives Matter, just Black lives. Like, it does not make sense to me. It really, it's
I had the same thought. I definitely have the same thought.
Yeah. So on a lighter note, let's talk a little bit about your fascination, your love for Disney. Can we talk about that for a minute?
No one's ever brought that up.
This is a new show. This is New Day, New Dawn. I'm going to bring it up. So let's talk a little bit about, because I know you have a serious passion for Disney. And where'd that come from? You know,
It's not.
Why
It's
is
not
it
that
such
I
a
love
thing?
Disney. I mean, like, I'm critical of the Disney Corporation. You know, but
Sure.
you know, like, I'm a kid. I'm 37 years old. This is what I tell people. I'm going straight from man-child to midlife crisis. There is no adulthood in between. So, and I'm big on a lot of, you know, goofy geeky things. Star Wars, Power Rangers, you know. So the Disney thing's kind of recent because I have a weird thing for cheesy music. And once I started catching these remixes of Disney tracks, I'm like, you know what? Some of these college kids I play for grew up to these movies, you know?
Yes.
So it just kind of like, so I'm going to play a big room or trance version of Let It Go, you know? And to be honest, some of the songs, sometimes in the newer live action Disneys, as good or bad as they can be, you know, so the new songs are on point. For example, the song Speechless from Aladdin, it was a new song that they put in the new live action. And I was like, this would make a great trance song, you know? What? And then I heard somebody actually do a really good remix, and I wanted to make my own remix. And that's kind of what it was a snowball effect of, wow, that's cool. Oh, you know? And it's crazy to play a Disney song and hearing people sing along, you know?
Yes, I'm sure. Now,
because it's one of those
how many
things,
dudes? I mean, I know the girls are singing, but how about the guys?
I'll see the dudes. I'll definitely like you put enough alcohol in these guys, and it'll be like, let it go, you know.
Right. So okay, all right, now I understand Disney Star Wars. Now, have you been to California? Have you? I mean, you were at NAMM, so did you go to Disney and see the?
You know what? That's something that I wanted to do in October, to go to Orlando and go see the Disney attraction, not Disney, the Star Wars attraction.
Yes.
But it's something that we're postponing until the whole, you know, COVID thing is over.
Gotcha. Yeah, we actually we live in California, so we've been to Disney and have seen it.
Yeah.
But we did have a trip planned for December this year. We were supposed to do a week at the at Disney World, and because of COVID, we postponed it to next year, hopefully. But I'm not the biggest Disney fan, but my family is. Like, I mean, you know, we're like, it's, I don't know if you know this, but like,
is it Disney? Is it Disney Marvel? Is it Disney Star Wars?
No, they are pure Disney. We're Jews. Disney's love Jews. I mean, Jews love Disney, which is actually rather ironic, considering if you knew anything about Walt Disney, he wasn't a big fan of the Jews, but Jews love Disney, and so no, they're old school, like classic Disney. Like they're not really Marvel. Yeah, like I'm Marvel. I've always been Marvel because I read comics and that was my thing, but I was never really a big Disney lover until I married my wife, and then it became a thing, and now I tolerate Disney more than
I was going to ask you, it's like, do you like it, or do you just kind of put up with it because they like it?
I put up with it. Yeah. Like we're going to Disney World. I'm just like, okay, we probably could spend our money somewhere else, but okay, I guess we're going to Disney World. But yeah, it's fun and it's great for kids, and you know, the kids love it, and that's all that really matters.
I think what's going to happen is like when we have kids, it's going to be, our kids are going to be the ones putting up with it. Like, oh my gosh, mom and dad want to go to Disney again.
What it is you're the adult couple in the brand new Disney animated film, you know, screaming and singing along. You can admit it. That's who you are, and that's okay.
Have you done a Disney themed wedding yet?
Yes, one time. One time. And it was where was it at?
Hello?
Newport Beach. Can you hear me?
Hello? Oh, you froze for a second. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
yeah,
done a Disney themed wedding?
I did it one time, and it was actually unexpected because when she asked for a couple of Disney tracks, she was like, "Okay, here's my request list." I looked, I'm like, "Okay, it's just cheesy pop music with a couple of like, oh, we lost PJ. We'll finish that story in just a minute when PJ comes back." So let's take a look at who is online. We got Mojax DJ online. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Make sure you follow Mojax because he is super, super dope. We have finally some people moving over from Twitch, which is just as from YouTube, which is very, very important. So thank you so much. Mighty Rel in the house. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Who else is on? DJ Roche, Ratbone in the house. I will tell you this. I do see this one little post. I've been seeing this post pop up. Pioneer S11. There will be no chat because the Pioneer S11, 10, 12, 13, 14 doesn't exist because it hasn't been promoted. So you're not going to get Prion to talk about a non-existing product. So I'm just throwing that out there right now for the people that keep throwing that up there. We're not going to talk about products that have not been released for whatever they are. All right, let's bring them back on.
Yeah, I don't know why it disconnected. Do you hear me?
Every so often, I've noticed that, and it looked like your stream was fine, but you're back on.
I was green light. So
yeah, very, very odd. So what I was saying before was, yes, I did her requests were really generic and just kind of poppy. She was like old school kind of girl. Yeah. So everybody's dancing on the big deal. And then she's like, hey, this is like right at the top of like where Let It Go was like, everybody knew it. Everybody was singing it. So I dropped Let It Go. And I swear to God, it was like people were running in from the outside and weren't even in the party type stuff. I was like, okay, I guess we're going to go here. So then I literally just opened up my Disney folder and started playing. I mean, they're dancing to Hakuna Matata and like everything, just going crazy. So
yeah,
they're a different crowd. They're a different crowd. Those Disney people. But it's fun. It's fun. I can't lie.
I would rather play the Disney tracks than like Hocus Pocus.
WAP. No, okay. Fair enough.
Now you gave me an idea. It's like I should do a mashup with WAP and Frozen.
You definitely should. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it. Why not? I ran into something because some people are like grossly against WAP, the song. Like, how dare you play this song anywhere? And I'm just sitting here listening like, last time I checked, if you go back in history and you check music, yes, she's being vulgar, but it's not any worse than Two Live Crew, when they were making music. And it's like, I don't know why it's so different. Maybe it's because it's girls talking about it versus guys, but I don't. It
didn't come off to me as that bad. But then again,
no.
I'm one of those people who don't hear lyrics like right away.
You're right. You're like, the beat's dope, so I'm good. Yeah. But if you listen to anything from Foxy Brown, from Lil Kim, they were just as bad. So I'm a little.
So this is new to me that that WAP did it. It's like,
right.
Wow, 30 years too late.
Yeah. Now, having said that, I mean, Cardi B in the video, that part I get because
I didn't watch
pretty
the
much
whole
out
video.
there.
I saw like little glimpses of it. So
you didn't see the second part of the video?
Probably not.
Okay. So I actually played this video on my show once. I can't play it now because I want to be able to post this video to YouTube. But watch the whole video. I'll just leave it at that. And you'll probably have a new found interest in Cardi B.
She was my first rap concert.
What do you mean? How can Cardi B be your first rap concert?
And it was 2 years ago. She was okay. I've been at parties and even have opened for like other established hip hop artists. Last one I did was Mike Jones. And
Mike Jones?
Yeah, he was like, I played the music for him and he was performing at a club. But I've never actually went to a hip hop event. Like, well, not a hip hop event, like to a rap concert. And I know some people are probably cringing. It's like, how's Cardi B your first one?
Right.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's definitely the first time I went to an established rapper's concert was Cardi B.
And how was it?
You know, she was a new artist, so every song she she almost every song she had was she wasn't the only, it wasn't just her song. So we were getting half songs throughout the whole night. I was cool with it because I knew to expect that. But some people are like, wow, we got ripped off. She started late, ended early, We got half songs all night. I heard Finesse and only her part,
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, that would be weird because it is a short verse too. So if she's in and out into another song, that would be a little strange. But I when she first came out, and then she started talking, I didn't know what to take from her because for when you first hear her, you're like, you kind of sound dumb, and then the more she speaks, you're like, no, she's not dumb. She might have trouble communicating what she's thinking, but you can tell that there's definitely intelligence in there.
Yeah.
It's just she's just not very articulate, which is not a big deal. But so like because a lot of people are the kings of like, Cardi B, just shut up and make music. Shut up and make music
Yeah.
because she's
and you understand what that's like. So
right. Yeah, exactly. So so what was my first rap concert? My first official like big name, because I went to like Summer Jam, back Power 106's Summer Jam, and those types of things where you saw like multiples. I saw Outkast was amazing when I first saw them, and that was like Southern Playalistic, like it was that album, and they were just amazing. My first real amazing hip hop thing was the Roots Come Alive tour, the first Roots Come Alive tour, and it was them and Talib Kweli, Common, Bilal, and it was the first time it was at the House of Blues in LA, in Hollywood. And I remember because you got up there and we're at the front and the Roots start playing. You're like, okay, that's dope. The Roots are doing their stuff. And then like 10 minutes later, Black Thought just kind of slides off the floor, and then another rapper comes in and the Roots still playing, and they literally just change it up. So for 2 hours, it never stopped. And it was one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen in my life. The Roots Come Alive tour, the first one. Yeah, that was amazing. But the best hip hop performance I've ever been to is the Busta Rhymes concert.
okay.
Busta Rhymes destroys every single event he's ever done. Every time. He's the best I've ever seen do it. And I mean, I'm talking, compared to Jay-Z. No, Busta Rhymes is a like true performer and kills it. So if you ever get a chance, because I know Busta has a new album coming out, so he says, if you ever get a chance, go check him out. Even in his advanced age, he's still really, really good.
Who impressed me at and it wasn't a concert because Cardi B was the first one I seen, was Waka Flocka was at our music festival, and it was insane the way he performs. It blew me away because my girlfriend doesn't listen to like hip hop except for Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, and she was like, "Wow, this guy is cool." And not only was his performance like so high energy, he was just cool backstage. He's just like, "Hey, let's take." He'll be like, "Hey, let's take pictures. What's up? Can I hang out with you guys?" He's just such a cool guy, like really humble. And I made a meme with this picture with a crowd, and the meme said, "Hey, so what do I tell people when people ask, what's in Iowa, cornfields? I show them this picture, and it's him with a crowd of people at our music festival, and he reposted it." So,
oh, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
He was a cool guy on top of a great performer. So you made me think of that when you were describing the Roots.
Yeah, no, and I wish more concerts were like that because I'm not a big fan of what I see lately musically. It's just not the same. Now, every time I say that, something in the back of my mind says, "You're old. And that's why it's not the same, because old people just see music differently. But I don't really care about what they're doing. I don't care about the sounds they're using or their flows or their style. Like, I just care about music being music. And I feel like we're losing a little bit of like the musicality in the music now. Like, at least, you know, even when hip hop was in the 90s, like, even if they were sampling, they'd be sampling jazz music and, you know, things like that, which would change. And now it's just kind of, it's really, really electronic. And it's
a whole
is.
production. And even like
Yes.
metal bands, you know, you got big LED walls and
Right. Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
I had to borrow this from EDC and bring it to a Metallica concert.
So it's a little different. It's a little different now. Now, having said that, there's some great artists that are coming out, and it's the reason that I love the only part of where we are right now is what does that say? I'm sorry. Marin H says Cleveland be talking too much. It is a talk show. It is. This is what this is. So I'm sorry. We're not playing music, even though you see controllers and stuff or turntables.
That's cool that you have your DJ gear right in front of you.
Yeah,
Like
you know
show.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because when I first started the show out, I was DJing first, and then doing like I would answer questions within the context of DJing, and I did that for like a week, and then the Beat Source link came out for Serato. So for an entire week, I was checking out the curation and all that stuff. And so I did that for a week. So then when we finally got to last week, I was like, you know what? I want to bring people on, but I want to be able to monetize. I want to be able to post it without fear that it's going to be pulled. So so then I stopped playing commercial music. And I was like, okay, so I'm not playing commercial music, so I'm just going to talk. And I didn't even have a guest that Monday. It just so happened that DJ Barr was available later on in the afternoon because I was just talking. So he came on, and then it was such a good show. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do more of this. You know, and then I brought on him and, Whoopik was first, not Barr. And I brought on him, and I brought on, do you know Rachel Lynch? So I brought Rachel Lynch on. She's a mobile DJ. She's really, really big on Facebook, and now she's building on YouTube, but really, really, really good. And then it just became a thing. So now I'm pushing this as it is, but yes, talk shows talk. Terry Talks. People see my Terry Talks emotes in the chat. Sorry. It's what it is.
It's like the Joe Rogan podcast. It's like, do you eat elk? Have you tried elk?
You know, people don't realize it's a lot of work to keep a show going for 2 to 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know, so
recording a video for me, I'm not the best speaker, so like for me it's 2/3 of my videos have to be edited out because I stop a lot. It's that record button, you know how it is. So
right,
and that's why I have so many cut edits. And to be able to do a live talk show, it's a lot of work to keep your brain flowing and just to stay on topic and not go into tangents, because I do that.
Everybody does it. That's we all do it. I have been the biggest go check my video and then realize I've just talked for an hour and I need to get it down to 12 minutes or 15 minutes. And I literally start cutting up like, okay, I like this part. I like this part. I'm going to make a story out of all these little bits and pieces, because sometimes unless you're writing a script, I'm not the script writer guy. It's just not me. Like, I don't do well really. I'll write highlights, outlines. But everything else is freestyle.
I don't do scripts either, but man, if you have to re-record, it makes the world so much easier, because I hate it when like I finish. I did this recently where I finished a video and the entire microphone was distorted because I turned up the preamp too much. Yep, I've been there. And then I'm like, man, if I just made an outline, this would be easy to redo, but I didn't. So Gotcha. Yeah, no, that actually makes. My last comparison mixer video, I did the whole thing. Then I went back to look at the footage, and the first thing was the setup was like this on camera. So I was like, when it's tilted, like I wasn't leveled. I wasn't leveled on my camera. So then I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'll just crop and shift. It's doable. Yeah. I use the A10 Mini Pro for some of my recordings because I can flip the overhead without having to like pull multiple streams. And then and then your thing is tilted when you don't want it to be. because
that
you have to cut
right.
every camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That wasn't the issue. I didn't realize that I didn't do an all-around recording for the entire stream. So every time I switched to my overhead, there was no audio whatsoever. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, let me just try to edit it. I can add that stuff back in. It's overhead. I can just bring the microphone.
Yeah.
It was like, nope, this isn't going to flow well. So I did the whole thing from start to finish, another hour doing it. I've done that 3 times now, always on my biggest videos. I have no idea why.
And that's it is crazy because it's like it'll be on a big video where you're really passionate about content where you have to redo it, and then not that many people watch it like that. Well, that's what happens for me. It's like wow, it's always my videos that I don't think are gonna do well. Like my MacBook, my MacBook Pro video. I had no idea people would find that interesting. It was just one of those, hey, I got a new MacBook. I want to show it because, perspective of somebody working on music and graphics and video. And then somehow that resonated more than, hey, check this out. I'm going to take an SB3, an entry-level controller, and use it with DJM-V10. And I'm going to make it work together. It's like, it's not the... It's not that it was bad, but it wasn't the most favored the way the MacBook Pro video did.
I get you. Yeah, it's the worst part of making YouTube videos for me is that you have no idea when you're making it and you're producing it. Oh, I'm going to add this in and I'm going to add this clip in and let me do this, let me do that. And you're doing all this work and you're like, this is an amazing video. And then you get like a small amount of views and you're like, if people would just see, there's so much work involved, but it's one of those things where you can't control. It's like you just have to put the work in because you might get 10,000 people that watch the video, but you might get 10 people, and it's always weird to me which ones do well. Because
I think for our subscriber count, I think that's what we deal with for now, and I think once we hit silver, it's a different story, because I can see and I'm not calling anybody out, but I've seen like a similar topic where from another YouTuber who has way more than both of us, and he did a video that had was demonstrating something similar to something I've done before, and in an hour he had more views than what I did. So I think it just depends. It's one of those things. It's like we're still growing our channel. It's just one of the challenges, and it's not that we're not getting good views. I think we're just not happy with the numbers we're getting now. Well, because we've seen some of our work just take off,
Right. Yeah, I'm reasonable. Like my numbers for me at this stage is like anything 5,000 or higher is I'm good with. Like if a video hits 5,000, okay. 10,000, I'm like, that's a good video. And then anything after that, I'm like, okay, great. That's just gravy.
Yeah.
But, but like when it's underneath that, I'm like, because people don't realize that the views and the numbers, like if you have a video that does, 1,000, 2,000, like you're not getting anything from that.
That's so true. Yeah. That's
and you've spent all this work and you're like, I just spent, maybe 5 hours editing, shooting, all this stuff. And you start doing the math, like, okay, 5 hours, I made $3. Like, is that worth my time? But you got to put out the content no matter what. But there's no, the only content that I can pretty much guarantee always gets good figures, in all honesty, is anything about Pioneer, no matter what. People will watch Pioneer videos. Virtual DJ is a huge one. People love to for whatever reason, love to be involved with virtual DJ. And you know what? And obviously streaming is kind of important right now. Like my biggest videos to date, besides my Beats video, was my how to stream on Instagram video. That has 200,000 views. So that's. And I didn't see that one coming.
With streaming related topics. I don't know what it is. I've been told, like Drew has told me, it's like you should when lockdown first started to happen, Drew was like, stick to streaming topics, and I'm like, I don't know why. Like my streaming topics don't hit as much as a few others. Like I feel like scratching videos, how to scratch videos do
Yes.
well on my channel.
They really do.
Guitar
Yeah.
videos don't, you know. And
I can see that.
Yeah. So and I think it depends on who your audience you built, and like, but I think my streaming thing is an anomaly because I've seen Mojax's videos do well with streaming. I've seen your videos do well with streaming, and I think I just had maybe I was hitting topics that people already covered. I don't know, you know. And that's the thing. You just don't know sometimes. It's hard to predict.
You don't know. You don't know. And like I have to let things like, you know, a Mojax video on the same thing that I'm releasing just go. Like I can't even try to compare myself to one of his videos because it's like we can do the same video. He's going to get, you know, 20,000 views and I'm going to be fighting to get that first 1,000 because they're, you know, they're just DJ City and they're just highly respected. So they're going to get the people. But for me now, it's like all bets are off. I just kind of do whatever. Like the guy, I just did that one video. I'm like, whatever, this works for me. But scratch videos are another thing where it's like, if you're good at it, as you are, I think you should probably do more, you know? And I know you were doing like live stream scratch videos as opposed to like just shooting a technical video about like, this is how you do this. You know what I mean? Type thing.
And the thing is, when lockdowns happened, I was also filming my exercises to learn the boomerang scratch. So for 19 straight days, you could see that I started from 70 BPM and got it all the way up to 140. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, so I almost doubled it. But then I stopped at 19 days because old age kicked in and arthritis started to hit me. So, no, it started to really hurt. It was my right hand, just like right. Where's my camera? Like right here, and on my forearm, it started to hurt.
Oh,
yeah. So I took it back because I didn't want to. I don't know if it was serious. I've asked my doctor about it afterwards. He's just like, "You're 37 years old, you know."
Yeah, that's always their answer. Now you're just old. You're telling me there's nothing. No, you're just old. But that's the same thing as like carpal tunnel and people typing. Like it's that repetitive movement that damages the ligaments. Well, you know, who said the same thing? Oh God, what is his name? I can't think of his name right now. Asian guy, DJs for Reloop.
I was Angelo.
What is his name? Angelo, DJ Angelo.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I saw him at NAMM, and I mean, we were talking a little bit, and he was like, "Oh man, he's like, I don't know how good I'm going to be today. My arm is killing me. Like you know, my arthritis. I can't do anything I want to do." But then fast forward 2 more years. He's dealing with it too. Yeah, he's been dealing with it. Yeah, but fast forward 2 more years, and he seems to have improved for whatever reason. So, you know, I think it comes and goes and weather-related things. And, you know, you come out to California and it's raining and all of a sudden now your body hurts. Like, there's just there's a lot of reasons.
And he's coming from around the world, so it's like...
Exactly. A lot of travel. Yeah, yeah. So, Lavender... No, not Lavender. My Subs Are Dope asks, why scratch videos work well over guitar videos? That's actually a really easy thing because a lot of DJs aren't musicians. So it's one of those clickable things. People aren't going to necessarily want to click it because they're like, well, I don't play guitar, so I'm not going to click it. You know, it's just facts. Like if I make a video about something that nobody cares about, they're not going to click my video. Now, somebody else who might do a whole bunch of that type of stuff, their clicks are going to happen quickly. But for us, our core audience doesn't care. So it's one of those things. Like when I first did my first streaming, the only reason why it blew up is because DJs were streaming, and DJs all of a sudden cared. But once they cared,
did you notice the iRig was like sold out during that time?
The iRig was sold out. All of the
Roland the Go mixer was sold out.
The Go was hard to find. Any capture cards you couldn't find capture cards, or they were like 300% over retail. Like it was an absolute nightmare. But
I'll trade you that capture card for some toilet paper, you know?
you're so right. You're so right. And I bought a whole bunch of capture cards in the beginning before ATEM contacted me.
I got lucky
no, you should
and
use
got the last iRig stream, like when it was 2 left on Amazon. And I got even luckier because then Pioneer wanted to do a partnership ad with IK Multimedia, and I got to make the ad. So, but yeah, there was a time I don't even use my iRig to stream. So it wasn't even necessary that I got it. But then my friends around town, they were like, "Can I borrow your iRig?" So I just, I was just like, "Here you go. Bring it back, because somebody else got to use it."
Yeah. I did an entire, which I still have to post this video, an entire YouTube production with Debbie Allen, just using an iRig and 5 different iPads and battery backups the entire time for an entire 12 hours. So,
my gosh, that's a long time.
It is such a long time.
How'd you power the iRig that long?
All battery backups.
Oh, wow.
Everything. We had like 12 battery backups.
I'm just thinking 12 hours. So you would take the charger off and go to the next battery bank.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a thing, but it worked. We made it work. Even though Instagram still pulled our videos, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's just check.
You.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm checking the comments now to see if there's anything that people want to talk to you about. If you have questions for PJ specifically, throw them in the comments. I don't want to keep them on too long, but if you have questions for him, let's just get those out. People say I'm over talking you. I want to make sure that you're comfortable. Does it feel like I'm over talking you?
I'm a listener. I'm a listener, and I'm an introvert. But I mean, if you get me going on about gear, then chat.
Yeah,
but,
and I think people don't understand. And this is for the people who said, "Look, as an interviewer, you kind of have to gauge dead spots and flow. And if it feels like we're about to hit a dead spot, I'm going to fill that space." You know what I mean? Until you get going, I'm like, okay, cool. He's going. Okay, it's starting to die down. Let me get on. So it's like double Dutch. We're all kind of doing our own thing here.
It's almost it's an art form, and I like.
Yes.
As an introvert, the way people speak and continue to speak, I'm almost amazed by it because I can't do it naturally. So.
Right. Yeah. I am actually kind of an introvert by nature. I learned how to bullshit, and it happened. No, it happened way early. It was back in high school, and all of my friends happened to be like drama people, band people, drama people. So they were all really, really outspoken, and every chance they got, they were making a scene, and that was never my thing. I'm like, that's not me. And then I started, I was in a rap group. First, I was in a rock band because I play a little guitar, not like you. But I was actually the lead singer. And people were like, "Are you going to be okay to do this?" And I don't know, for whatever reason, if I'm on stage, if I'm in front of a camera, I am not the same person.
Yeah.
that I am. You know what I mean? When I'm just sitting around, hanging with people.
You go into performance mode.
Exactly. So that performance mode is what I have, and I've always been able to just talk, and so it works for me. But it is definitely learned, and I've made it a point because
you can acquire it.
You can acquire it, and it's a cool thing to have. But I still can't small talk to save my life.
Yeah, that's how I am. I can't in college. I had no problem with public speaking, doing rhetoric. I have no problem getting in front of a crowd of people to showcase or demonstrate something. And it's weird that that's the case, because you put me in a room of people just to socialize, then I'm like, I'll just sit here.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been there. My friends know that even when they ask me out, hey, come to this club, and I'm just like, give me all the information about the club before I even consider going to this club. oh, it's this kind of music. I don't want to go there. And I'll go if I'm DJing. But then, I'm sitting there and people are, hey, man, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking around like it's just not my thing. My partner, Paris, he's one of those guys that can literally just start a conversation. I can't do that. I've never been that guy, and I know that that's my weakness.
Yeah.
But I can talk to random people in the air, like for some reason
sure.
that's easy for me.
I guess it's different when it's a controlled environment. I think that's what it is, and I think when you're in public places, there's a lot of uncertainty, and you're kind of hyper aware. So
Yes.
And at the club, it's like I tend to I have to actively not go into the DJ booth and hide there, when I'm just there, when I'm not there working. And my girlfriend points this out every time we're out anywhere. We can be in Vegas, and she says I start moving around like I'm working. Like the way I walk, it's like you walk like you work here. It's like you go from your friend to your other friend, and you're walking like something's urgent. And why are you doing this? You're not at work, And I think that's just working in the club scene since I was 19, and I guess that's what became my habit when I'm at the club. It's like automatic. There's urgencies. There's something I got to watch out for. Make sure that everything's okay, Make sure everyone's having a good time. I'm like, why am I making sure everyone's a good time? I'm here to have a good time. Calm down,
You're at the club talking to people, grabbing their drinks. Can I get you another one? Everything good? Are we good? Is this a good time? They're like, who are you? That's funny. Hey, wait, but you know what? You have your comfort zone, your comfort level, and that's where you are. So that makes sense. People are asking, will you be able to get back to us about Rekordbox with Tidal? Yes. I literally, once we get off of this, I'll plug it in and see what's going on. I did not hear anything about Tidal being removed, like anywhere. So that's a new thing for me.
Double check your preferences. It could.
Exactly. If it's activated, if it's on, if you've logged in, like all of those things. My subs are dope says Tony Touch, Evil D, all vouch for CT, so he's earned the talking time slot. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. My subs are dope. That shocked the hell out of me because look, YouTubers live in a bubble. Okay, we make content. We know people are watching. Obviously, our subscriber counts are higher, especially for a DJ niche. They're pretty high for DJ niche. But when like somebody which I consider to be like an idol of mine says, "Oh, I watch your videos," like it's hard for me to grasp that. Like that's weird. Like you watch me? Like no, I watch you. Like it's so weird. So it's cool to become kind of a staple in the community, in the DJ community where people know you. But like I have no idea about anything. I don't know what levels I'm on. I just do what I do, and if people know me, cool. If they don't, it is what it is too. It's weird. It's weird though, but because you have so much access, or people have so much access to you, but you don't have access to them, so you don't know who's watching, who appreciates your content. Like you have no idea.
There's a lot of people are anonymous on YouTube, just the way they have it. It's not like Facebook where you know who's saying something, and you can connect with those people, So
right.
It's a public forum over there.
Right. Yeah.
So like what you said, like you got to be, and like you'll get corrected sometimes from maybe something you might have something inaccurately or just completely wrong because like
correct.
You didn't, sometimes when you research the information, some things aren't available or you just overlooked something,
Yes.
So there's like we're not always gonna get it perfectly. And I try my best to correct as much because I have OCD. It's like, oh shoot, I thought that was unofficial because it wasn't covered in a product page, but I didn't know it was official. So my bad,
Right. Yeah. I think we've all done that. I had done it earlier on, and then now when I make videos, I'm just like, you kind of get the understanding of like, what's a person going to ask me when I say this? and then you can start kind of answering those questions in the videos before you have to get them in the comments where people are like, you said this and this is wrong, and like, if
Yeah,
you actually
you
watch,
can predict a few things that are people are going to be concerned with. So
Now, let me ask you this, though. How many times do you get people that are in your comments saying things that were answered in the video?
almost every video that I have a bit that's very technical, always that's pretty like you got to be nice to people, be like, hey, as I covered in 6 minutes and 42 seconds, this is I addressed that issue, and this is the answer for that. I think the one that I get is the most was my video about explaining the Serato licenses, because it's a little confusing,
Right.
like when does it work, when does it not work, because people don't understand that hardware unlock is unlocked for that piece of hardware. And here's a video where the title explains how to figure it out, and the whole video is about, just go to the page, you'll know which ones are hardware unlock and which ones require a license in order to unlock. And then in the comments, so does my SX3, does it work with my SX3? So I have a 1000 SRT and Serato DJ Pro works. So does that mean my SB3 is supposed to work? Because it doesn't work,
You can't. The most humbling thing about making videos is when you check your analytics and then you watch like your average watch time. And then that's when I started to realize that people, the reason why they're asking questions is not necessarily because they didn't watch the video, was because they skipped ahead or they moved faster, and so,
I didn't even consider that. That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah. Because and I'm like, oh, did you watch the video? I'm like, of course I did. Oh, you know what? When I watched it again, I found it. Oh, sorry, my bad. But like my average is like 7 minutes, but my videos are like 12 minutes. I'm like, there's no way that anybody can get anything that I'm saying without watching a video, because I don't just say everything in the beginning.
There's pressure for us to make them shorter too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's hard. It is a hard thing to do, because
to be concise on the video, to get the point across, and try to do it in 5 minutes or less.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, because like I have found that for me, a 5 minute video, if you look at the average, it's not like, if my average video is 6.5 to 7 minutes, okay, that's the average viewing time. If I do a 4 minute video or 5 minute video, I'll watch that and it's like 2 minutes. So it's like, not necessarily the time. It's just some people feel like, okay, I got enough, and then they're out. Or I'll watch the rest later, type thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's weird. It's weird.
I wish it was easier to access the speed control.
Right.
Like, so you can go, like 1.5 faster, so that, and then we'll learn how to talk slow, and then it just sounds normal.
Right. And I think that everybody's a little different. Like your videos are definitely more they're really kind of to the point. My videos have they're a little more story driven, and both of them work. But so it's like, I've tried to cut down my videos, and trust me when I tell you, they could be a lot longer. Yeah. So if they're cut down, it's like, trust me, I've done a lot of work on that thing. But it is what it is. Everybody's got their thing.
I've learned to cut off story. Well, I won't say I learned to cut off. I've learned to cut down story times, because it's like even in this interview, I'm like, how did I get into Pioneer? Well, it started with me making music back in Detroit, and this person like listening to my tracks and then moving them. It's like, because that's what you think about when this product, when this technique, it's like I think about those times that led me to this, because sometimes I want to share what inspired me to do that, because the message I'm trying to get across is, you never know, something might inspire you. Don't ignore it. If you have something that's like working up here that you want to try, just try it. And I'm not sure if I convey that enough in my videos. But that's why I go into tangents with stories, and that add more time to my video.
I think tangents are important. I think stories are important. I've told people this left and right. If you're going to retain more information from a story than just from you spitting technical facts. And it's just, you need both. You know, you can't just tell a story and then not have anything to back it up. But if you do it correctly, people will retain that knowledge more. At least that's the way I feel. You know, we've grown up, we've lived in this world. It's all based upon stories. That's how we learn. We learn from stories and music. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how we've learned as a culture. So I think you got to do both. Let's see. So Lehman said, PJ, after my first time using the CDJ 3000s, I really love it. But my first complaint is that I need to get to the top of the page really fast. Can Pioneer DJ engineers make the browser section go to the top by double tap on top of the screen like your phone? So you get what he's saying.
Yeah, I'll definitely note that down. I haven't even opened mine yet, so they're not mine. They're loaners, but
yes,
I haven't explored the production model yet. So definitely something I'll check out. I'll actually
Gotcha.
you know what? Let me copy and paste that and just give. Oh, I can't even scroll down on the chat. But if anything, if you could send me that, yeah,
yeah, I think I can.
Because I'll have to try that first.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, let's see what else. Papicito, which I always have trouble calling you Papicito. Just letting you know that right off the bat. I watch pre-owned mixing without a jog wheel. Awesome. I like it. I like how you keep it simple and use low price but quality controllers.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Xavier White says, what's your top 5 seasons of Power Rangers?
Actually, I can't even say it's top 5. It's the first 2 seasons of Mighty Morphin, you know, because I grew up to that. I was a Voltron fan before that. And the idea of getting 4 colored animal robots forming one big robot was my thing. So, and I think it was all created by Toei. So it was the first 2. Mighty Morphin was. So story time. When I first met Jason David Frank, who played the White Ranger and the Green Ranger, it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and my girlfriend was with me, and my girlfriend is younger than me. She's 26 years old, and I was fiddling with my camera to get ready to take a picture with him, and he meets my girlfriend first, and I heard him say, "Wow, you look really young to be one of my fans," and she goes, "Well, no, actually, I'm here for my boyfriend who wants to meet you because he's been watching you since I was born." I was like, oh, geez. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're 11 years apart.
Yeah, we actually knew, I always forget his name, the Black Power Ranger, who was literally the Black
Zach.
Power Ranger. Yeah. He's a dancer. So
Yeah,
he's always
does
on our spots.
Hip-hop keto. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that capoeira stuff. Exactly. Okay. Let's see here. There was something. Oh, Gogo Mogo says, I'm anonymous, unsubscribed from PJ. Now you know me. Gogo Mogo is a very strange individual. He's brutally honest, so I respect that. But yeah, everybody's got their people that they're just like, okay, every time you make a post, somebody's going to come in and be either overly critical or just say something where you're like.
But you know what? I learned from those. Like sometimes,
yes.
like there's really good points in critical posts that like I'm like, wow, I really didn't consider that. So I welcome it. And I don't think my channel resonates with everybody. I know there's channels out there that don't even resonate with me, so I get it,
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's, I used to get really emotional in a strange way, like a thin-skinned way, like, oh, what do you mean you don't like my channel or whatever? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not for you. And that's okay. That's okay if I'm not for you. I don't have to be for everybody. Since we were talking about Power Rangers and you're talking about, did you watch Robotech? Robotech was my thing.
No, I didn't watch Robotech, and the other one that people would ask about would be Gundam, and
Yes.
I was big on Voltron. I was never big on other anime, and
Interesting.
I think it's because it was because Power Rangers kind of took
Hmm.
that over. I remember I did have some of the toys, and I did like playing. What was the game that was based on Robotech? It was Mech Warrior.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. That
Yeah,
game was cool.
I
That's right.
did like playing that game on Windows 95. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that game. That was good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember playing. I was at Dave and Buster's, and they had the simulators for Mech Warrior, and I thought that was so awesome. Like because you were inside. Now it didn't
Inside.
move around, but you were inside this thing, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'm a partial anime guy. Because I liked obviously I liked Robotech, Voltron, Thundercats, like that. I grew up on
Yeah, yeah.
Thundercats and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I never got into like serious anime because there's some like my son now watches all that old anime. Like he's big on it, and like I appreciate it. I did watch Death Note. I don't know if you ever watched that. The anime. You never watched Death Note?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Well, like I
have you
said,
read-
after Voltron, that was it.
So this one, so this one isn't actually like a fighting thing. It's based upon some comics, the Death Note comic series. I think it's comics.
Yeah.
And I say comics, and somebody's going to be like, no, it's the visual blah, blah like whatever comics. But it's on Netflix, and
Okay.
it's a great. So they made a movie about it, and the movie sucked. So after I
Okay.
watched the movie, and people were like, no, you got to watch the animated show, the one that's on Netflix. And then I watched that one, and then I understood what the movie was trying to be. It's a great show. It's a guy that can write a note and kill somebody. If he writes your name in this notebook, the next day you die. And it's all about this guy and how he's trying to like change the world, but people are catching on to him and all this stuff. But it's a really good show. Like it's like a TV show. But
Okay.
you got to watch it though. Yeah, definitely
sure.
take a look
Death
at
Note?
it. Don't watch Death Note. Don't watch the movie because the movie sucks. And it's like they changed it all. Like, and the movie, like it's a white guy, but in the comics, it's an Asian guy. Like it's just like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's that type of stuff. A lot of strange whitewashing when they didn't need to because
For sure.
there's a lot of Asians that are really good.
Speaking of
It's
Netflix,
always weird to me.
have you watched that series Away with Hilary Swank? It was like number one, I think. Like
Oh
earlier, like
no,
last week.
it popped up in my feed, but I haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
I got my girlfriend hooked onto it. We binged the whole first season in 2 days.
Really?
So like I'm editing video and I'm like, let's watch this, and then I've showed it to some of my friends who, number one, aren't really into the sciencey sci-fi stuff, and it's not really. I mean, I guess it's science fiction, but we're talking about going to
Yeah.
Mars, And
Right.
she was crying her eyes out. She was like, "Wow, that was really good," Yeah.
Interesting.
So
No,
it's
I
a
haven't watched
really
that one.
emotional show. It makes you really appreciate the Mars mission that's coming.
Gotcha.
Because it makes you think. It's like, wow, these are the real personal battles that some of these people could go through, and some of the possibilities that could happen. All the not so much the technical, because every depiction of going to Mars, we're talking about the cool actiony stuff, like just the landing. This I don't want to spoil it, but this one, it's like it takes place in the most boring part of the mission, So
Right.
but it's not a boring show because it makes you think, wow, this is like it gives you a new appreciation for the astronauts that are going and everyone involved
You
with the
can't
mission.
you can't just land and be like, I'm on Mars. Like, no, there's like a lot of stuff that you have to do in order to live on Mars. So I can definitely understand that, and I think that they are definitely
just
trying
the journey going is
yeah,
it's months.
It's
So
right. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have been watching. I've been watching The Boys. I don't know if you watched The Boys at all on Amazon Prime.
I actually
You
don't
gotta
have
wa-
Amazon Prime.
You don't have Amazon Prime? How is that even
Yeah.
possible? I thought everybody
I
had
know,
Amazon
like
Prime.
I have to like every time I have to order something, it's like 7 days.
So you actually have to wait. Like I don't
Mhm.
even know what that feels like. Like what do you mean
And
I'm not getting it
I learned a
tomorrow?
lesson about that because I broke my lav mic, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wow, I don't want to use anything else because that lav mic just sounds amazing. So now I have to wait, and now I know to buy two, to have a backup.
I get you. I get
Yeah.
you. So what lav mic do you use?
It was it was like a $40 Chinese brand. So my lesson learned from that is make sure it got a warranty. So I went for a Movo instead. Because
I've heard about the Movos.
yeah, I used it since I remember seeing the order right before I went to NAM, so it wasn't even a year old. And what happened was, I think just from pulling it because it's an XLR and it's not wireless, so just from lifting it up, I think one of the signal carriers went out because it started acting like an unbalanced connection, and it has a long RCA wire,
Gotcha.
so it started getting interfered.
Mhm.
I was like, why am I hearing radio frequencies and why is there a hum? So yeah.
Yeah, I've been stuck on my road, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been fine for me. I considered moving to at least a little lapel option that you can put on
Yeah.
there and then and raise it up, and then I'm just like, this one the sound is fine, and I've heard bad things about as good as the Rode wireless is.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that sometimes if you plug in your lav mic, it will short out the Rode box, and it'll only work as a lapel from that point on.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't even want to test that. It's working the way it is. It wasn't like it was cheap. So yeah, maybe one day I'll move to lapel because it's a box. It's literally
For
chilling
me,
on
it's
me.
just the room noise. Like even with my acoustic treatment, it's just you get a little bit of room noise. I just like that. And the reason why I'm so big on the lapel is just when you're talking over music, it cuts through more.
Yes.
It's more clear, especially when you're trying to do a demonstration where you're playing something and you can't really judge how. I mean, you can control it in post, but I find myself not controlling it, needing to control it as long as I have my microphone peaking at -3 and my music peaking at -9. I almost never have to control the levels. So
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, that's why I prefer the dry sound of having it like that close to you versus having it like overhead.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I've never been a big fan because I have several microphones that are I can do an overhead. I'm just like, you're always introducing sound, and especially if you get
Yeah.
people in your house.
The
There's always
fan
random
noise
noises.
of a MacBook.
The fan noise of the MacBook in my room. I have a fan. It gets super hot. I got to turn it off because if I don't, you hear that the entire time.
Yeah.
So, but with the lapel, I think it would be better. Or, like right now, I'm using this guy for this.
What-
which is
what
the Rode
microphone
Pod
is that?
mic. That's the Rode Pod mic.
Okay.
So it's $100, and it's a great mic. I love it so far. Except for the fact that you can't power it with your mixer. It's not. It requires more power.
Is
than
it
the Rode
phantom
70.
powered?
No,
Is
it's not. It just requires more.
Oh,
you can
okay.
do it.
So
I
you'll
have
need a
to-
preamp.
You don't even need a preamp. You just need it to have slightly more power. Like on the Rain 70, I have to push this thing up to 100 and then put my master gain up to like 9 o'clock in order to get a decent sound. Now
Do you have an SX3?
I do. I have SX2. I know those preamps are better.
Yeah, there's a compressor on the microphone preamps on those. So, and
yeah.
you can control it in the utilities.
Yeah, I run the mic now into my Yamaha little 8-channel mixer.
Yeah.
And then I run it back into the mixer itself. So and that's worked. But I really want to get a Rode Podcaster. I don't know why. I love the fact that it's got everything built in. You can do your compression and all that stuff right off the bat and never have to think about it again. Like
I'll have to look that up because I'm not even familiar with it.
yeah, it's not cheap, but it's basically a 4-channel mixer. But every line has Bluetooth, so you can literally put cell phone calls into it, and it'll pull it in. It'll kill the echo, so there's no issue, no echo loops. But every channel has its own compression, and you can totally set it and forget it. It has 4 independent headphone outs. So if you're doing a podcast, everybody has their own volume control and everything. So it's just a really, really cool system, and they keep updating it. Now it does multi-track. Like when you record, you can track them on their own things. You can record right into the box. There's just a lot of cool things about it. Yeah. So it's just not cheap. It's like $600.
Yeah.
But every time I look at it, I'm just like, one day.
It made me think about the YOLO box. Have you seen that?
I have not.
It's not the same. It's not the same type of device, but it's basically a screen that's also an ATEM Mini, basically that. And you can do all your live streaming straight from the box itself, because not only is it Wi-Fi, it takes a SIM card.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you can go LTE.
Yeah, exactly. I think
that's cool.
I think 4G. Well, yeah, 4G. Yeah, you could go LTE, and it has multiple HDMI inputs and an output, so you can use it as a monitor. I was just exploring this because I was like, how do I make live streaming simpler if I'm taking it to gigs, because I have to it's starting to feel like I'm setting up for a mobile gig by how much time it takes to set up live stream gear on top of my guitar gear with my DJ gear,
Gotcha.
So it's like carrying crates all over again.
It really is. There's so much stuff, and one little thing forgotten can legitimately ruin the entire stream.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's why I like it being set up, being in a place, because like with the ATEM Mini, it's not really a thing you would move around much.
Yeah.
So then I would have to go through OBS instead. And I know people have asked about the difference between OBS and everything. I assume you're using OBS.
Yeah, I'm using
or
OBS.
Do you use? Okay, yeah. I for anybody that's wondering, I like OBS. I do. My only problem with OBS has nothing to do with OBS, but it has to do with the fact that you need a super, super good video card in order to do the things that you see a lot of people doing in OBS. Like,
you're right. Like if you're layering like two videos.
Exactly. Yeah. I've done
because I'm using a MacBook Air for as my streamer right now. I'm going to eventually replace it with a PC with a good video card, but I've been going 720.
What year though?
2017. With 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah.
Right. So it's a much faster processor. Like I'm using my 2012, and for the most part, my 2012 quad core, for the most part, it does a good job. Every so often, it just hiccups and destroys the stream. You know what I mean? And
do you have a solid state in there, or is it?
I do. It's solid state. Yeah, solid state, 16 gigs of RAM. It's got the dedicated video card, but sometimes it just craps up. You can't go higher than 720. Like that's the max. But it works. But
I believe OBS is not running off well, it depends if
it's not off the graphics card.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't run off the graphics card.
On a Mac,
that's the problem.
It runs on the integrated graphics. So
yeah, my buddy bought a brand new, because he was running off to 2012, and then he got a brand new, and it's like Hewlett Packard from Best Buy laptop, but it has like this great video card in it, and he's now running 1080p 60, and it's not even sweating, because that's the key. OBS, in order to really use OBS to its maximum, you need a really good video card, and then everything will process off the video card versus the processors, which on Macs is what's killing us.
Yeah.
So, but it works. I've done all my green screen stuff on there for the most part, but now that I have the ATEM Mini Pro, it's really hard to go back, because the ATEM has its dedicated graphics cards inside of it. It's doing all the processing. So like right now, I'm going the USB-C out to my computer. So everything that's going into the computer is just the video and the audio, just one stream. So it's super low impact, but I don't even need my computer. I can just stream right from the ATEM at 1080p, and I have no issues. So I do like the ATEM. I do love some of the stuff that people are doing though with OBS. It's really, really cool. Some of these things people are doing, but
from an open source software they can get for free.
Right. But it is a resource hog. People don't know that. It's definitely resource heavy.
But it's working with graphics. It has to be, you know.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. And go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I lost that thought already.
I was going to talk about Tim Snyder's question. He says, I'm an older DJ trying to get back in the game, and it's a battle trying to get accepted. So any tips? And that's actually a really good question because I know a lot of people are getting the DJ bug again, and they maybe used to be really good, and now these young guys are like, get out of here, old man. You know, I mean, what is your vibe? I mean, you're 37, you're like middle of the line.
I mean, you don't have to try to relate with the kids, just play the music. You know, I focus on the music, and if it's a getting gig thing, it kind of also depends. It's like, if he's, you know, it's not clearly stated, are you getting back mobily or are you trying to get back in the clubs, you know? Now we have better resource to advertise, so it's like, because you can live stream, as we were talking about. And sometimes you have to prove yourself. And I get it. It's easier for me to say this because I know I look younger than 37. But at some point, I'm gonna be gray in 10 to 15 years because it's coming out now, you know. So I don't know if I can speak too much on this yet because I don't think I have the advantage that my foot's in the door where I work. So it's a hard thing to say, but I know there are older people that play in college towns. I have friends that are gray, that are grandpas that play in college towns. And really, I think every market is different, but at the end of the day, it's like, do you play good music? It all, like, if you're rocking that party, that's all that matters. Sure, some people might judge you, but you know, like, that's it's the kids. Not to excuse what they're saying, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, so just focus on the music.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and you know, especially now with the ability to stream out, people seeing who you are, people seeing how dope you are, is gonna open the doors for a lot of things that you didn't necessarily know. Like, it's really hard to just say, I'm gonna be a DJ, and then you just go to a club, knock on the door, like, hey, I'm a DJ, and they're gonna be like, I don't know you, you know. But if you start to develop a name, and all of a sudden people are like, hey, I have, you know, 400 people that watch me on Twitch every time I stream, you know, or people are seeing you because your numbers are high for whatever reason. People can see. We booked a gig for this weekend, last weekend, and the reason we booked it, the guy was already recommended to us, but he was like, well, I have special tastes, and it was a gay 40th, and he's like, I have special tastes, and blah blah blah. So he's like, how can I see you? Send me your demo. And my partner's like, just go to Twitch at 3:00, and you can just watch my set for an hour. And then he watched, and he was like, okay, great. This is what I want. And not only that, but like, I like this song. I like this song. I like this song. You should play this too. All of a sudden, because you know how people are. People go into the world like, I have my stuff. I know what I want from my party. And then they see you do something else and they're like, well, that's good too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it actually opened the door. So
we have Bridezilla and Groomzilla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like now, this is the best time to market yourself. Not only can people see you real and live stream, doing your thing, talking to people on the microphone, like all of those things that are required to be on an event. You know, there's just more validation. So I think, like, for me, if because I'm older than you, and it's like I DJ all the time. There are people like Jazzy Jeff. He's still a DJ now. He's Jazzy Jeff, but
yeah,
he wasn't always like. The reason that people want him is because he's still dope. He gets better and better, and that's the difference. You got to keep
Even
staying in it.
When you look at the superstar DJs, a lot of them are in their 50s and 60s, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
did you see that there was I think it was on YouTube where David Guetta did a remix to WAP, and
I didn't
he was
see
on
that.
somebody's
No,
channel.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, and it's like a 15-minute video, and he just kind of goes through his entire process and literally does the remix from scratch. But he's COVID face, so he's gray. He's got his beard, and when I first saw him, I'm like, that's not David Guetta. David doesn't look like that. And he starts talking. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
people are older. You know, it takes a while to get to a certain level anyway. So you're probably going to be a little older than the dude that just started DJing, and his homie is a promoter and can get him in.
I'll say this too. Like my experience with club owners is they tend to like to hire older folks because sometimes like I'm not trying to put a generality on young people, but it's like sometimes the younger DJs aren't as reliable sometimes. They're new to the game.
Yes.
Like they're still getting in, and like they're not like our motivations can sometimes be different. Like if you're just there to do your job and you want to go home, like
go back to your family.
You can be more reliable than the person who's there to party, and nothing wrong with that. I think it needs to be a vibe of both. But with the club I work for at the college place, it's almost 10 years that I work there, and I've seen the younger guys come and go. And of course, part of the reason is because they graduated and went back home, But that's the thing. So, like, there's always something to offer, no matter what. If you're young, you have your youth. You have your drive, like, pushing for you. When you're older, you have your reliability. You have your sense of stability that's working with you. So it shouldn't, work. There's always something where you can work with what you got.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Let's see. Loco Lopez says, I'm 48. I've been in the game the whole time. It's tougher to stay relevant, but if you're true, it will always work. DJ Miz says, if you're an older DJ, don't try to go to young bars or clubs. Start at older places with people in your age range that will look to you versus a younger DJ with less years. I see both things there, to be honest with you. I think an older DJ could definitely rock a younger club. And especially nowadays, because people are exposed to so much music that you can drop classics and the 18 to 21-year-olds will know the music. You know what I mean?
Around
so it's like
is enjoyed by people who weren't born when it came out. So
exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot of things out there. I just think you have to be relevant with the music you play so you can instill confidence, and then you can sprinkle in the older stuff.
I think kids today, and I don't think people talk about it enough, I think they're more exposed to
I know
more
what you're
music.
saying. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, like I feel like they know more about older music than we did back in the 80s and 90s, Like,
yes.
and I think the internet has something to do with that because kids today are buying vinyl, Well,
yeah,
I don't know about the past 3 or 4 months, but like vinyl sales did go up for a little bit after, like from 2012 till just before the pandemic. So yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. I think like the events that we do now, because we do a lot of mobile events, and we'll get the song requests from people, and yeah, you might have like, you know what, just play the stuff that my friends want to hear, but here's also my request, and then it's like serious classic rock, old school hip hop, and you're like, where are you getting this from? Because they're being exposed. They find one song that they like, they hit like, and next thing you know, Tidal, or they're all going, hey, you might like this song too. And then they're being exposed even more. And now there's this whole thing, which is why I hope that once we get out of COVID, people are more receptive to playing all types of music. Because you're not playing that, right? Like before COVID, you'd go to the club and you'd have your club music, and that'd be it. Just play that club music, whatever. But now, even the DJs that were like club DJs, you go to their streams, they're not playing that club music. They're playing stuff that they like. They're playing underground stuff and new stuff. You know what I mean?
And
so
copyright kind of forces you to, yes, like the
too.
issues.
That too. So I'm wondering if once we get out, are they going to regress back to their old ways, or are they going to attempt to play some stuff that maybe people haven't heard, stuff that they like.
Yeah, there's certain things that kind of came back, like I talked about how I was part of the Asian breakbeat scene, and that rejuvenated because we had a group of just people sharing that old music that we used to all listen to. That was 1,500 at the beginning of COVID, and there's over 6,000 people requesting to be added on to this group. And this was the reason why our live streams, a lot of like the other guys that work with me in this scene, our live streams shot up from doing 20 at a time to like 100. A friend of mine, DJ Baby Boy, was doing like celebrity levels numbers on Facebook, was going over 1,000, like I would watch Dash Berlin, him and Dash Berlin. Like, I'm like, how are you getting Dash Berlin's numbers? So just because it brought back those old memories, and it made people play what they like, and it's enjoyable. I think sometimes people forget that we have, like, us as performers have taste too, and we play our best when we're playing to our taste, but we can't always do that because we're also in a position of customer service, So it's like, for the ones who were, I wouldn't say bold enough, but for the ones who were like ambitious enough to live stream during COVID, they got a chance to show what they really like and find the people that really like what they listen to. So I think some people gained fans through it. Now don't get me wrong. It's a tough time for everybody right now, like our state opened, then closed. The college town I worked at became, at one point, was the highest number of new cases in the world for a city.
Because it's a college town.
Yeah, and we have we have one of the busiest bars, and when people would congregate, it would look packed, and it became memes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I still have a place to work for when this is all over.
Right. Yeah.
But getting back to it's just, I think it's good that DJs show their taste, and I think sometimes we get caught up in open format that we forget that we play our best when we're playing what we love,
Yeah, agreed. Need to give a shout out to Tweak Music Tips. That's the fam right there. Make sure you follow Tweak Music Tips. They are fantastic especially we're talking about streaming. They have channels. They have dates dedicated to learning from the streaming gods of how to stream better. They have industry people on, including myself, which Mojax and I will be on Friday. We will be on with Pioneer, actually. Pioneer's going to be doing a demo. So,
awesome.
So that should be really, really cool.
Is Mojax doing a demo, or is it somebody from Pioneer?
At Tweakle will have to answer. I think at first Mojax was going to do the demo, but I don't know exactly what happened after the fact.
Yeah.
So we'll go from there.
Is it with 3,000? Sorry, I'm curious. I'm asking you questions like, oh, I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, no, it is with the 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But by the way, and I know you probably haven't opened the box yet.
No,
but I
know
know
it came in
that
last night. Oh, yesterday.
Okay, it came in last night. Right. But I know that when it was announced and released, it kind of had a little bit of blowback, and I mean, what's your take on it? Because depending on who you talk to, some people will say, well, it's not for you, it's for the rental places and, the live people. But like other people are like, well, no, because it is for me because you're announcing it and I'm looking for a new CDJ, so, and I'm looking at this compared to the Denon series. So, like what's your take on it without,
It's true. There was a lot of research done with major artists that use it the most. Well, not necessarily use it the most, but the main people that use it, like festival stage wise. And it was tweaked to the needs of the people playing those performances. And that's why certain things like the positioning of the hot cues. A lot of people are like, why don't you have it below the jog wheel? And when you think about it, people who like it below the jog wheel are used to their controller, and you usually use
Right.
your controller in 2-deck mode. If not, you have a CDJ where the hot cues aren't underneath. When you're using, most of these guys are using it in 4-deck mode. You know, whether some people notice it or not, there's a reason why they're using 4 decks, even if they're playing on 2. You don't want, when you're reaching over, to accidentally hit that hotkey with your wrist. That's more of a risk when you're in 4 decks. When it's over and above, it's out of the way, and it's not too far from where it used to be. And you know, it was something that it was well researched as far as a decision to go one way or the other. And at least if it's on the top, it's not a big jump from the people who've been used to since the CDJ 1000, where the hotkeys were on the top left. It's not a huge leap. So if you're going to a club and they have a 2000 Nexus 2, and then you're going to play somewhere else, it's not a big jump. And it keeps everything together, especially since the display is right there. So there was decisions made like that. And, you know, like I get it. It's not everybody's favorite spot, but it's what it was made for who it was, and how they, based on their feedback on it. And there's a lot of decisions on that. Like, you know, like some people brought up Wi-Fi, and you're not going to be using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not reliable enough to be used on a festival stage, you know, that. And some of the other things you can't see. The jog wheel was redesigned, and we haven't redesigned the jog wheel since the CDJ 800. I mean, like, we added the LED light, we changed the LCD on it, but the bearing mechanism was improved on it so that it's quite, like, you've worked with the pressure-sensitive jog wheel, and you know that pioneer sound of the bearing rolling around. That was changed, and that was, you know, that was a little risky because it was changing something that has worked as a staple for so many years, and it's something that's, you know, not calling anyone out, but sometimes competitors don't get perfectly right, you know, is the jog wheel. And to make it quieter, smoother, and still be scratchable, if I dare say, like, that takes a lot of engineering, because one of the big problems with, once again, the target user is if you're in a desert and there's a lot of dust that day, and maybe even a sandstorm, CDJs get just buried in sand, and after you use them, it's like you have to open them up and clean them if they don't break. If you get like sand and rocks inside the bearings, you can break the bearing off. I've seen that happen before, and I've used CDJs that came from the desert, and I hated it, you know. So these new ones are made to be, they're made to be dirt and sand resistant. They're liquid resistant, and it's something that you can't notice off a picture. We mentioned it in the intro video. It's one of those things that that aren't going to stick out to you. So it's balancing it. It's an evolutionary product. It's the next step from the Nexus 2, and the I think one of my favorite things about it is the fact that the load time when you have have you used a 2000 Nexus 2?
Yeah.
And you use it in standalone?
Correct.
And have you loaded a track? Have you noticed the load time with like 8 hot cues?
Yeah,
okay,
it
you know what's
while.
up.
Yeah,
it's down to less than a second. And you know, I get it. It's not a performative feature, but as a person who likes to quick mix, for me, it's like, wow, I don't need to use software because I can do this all standalone now, you know. So So, but I see what, you know, I see the concerns. I get why people are saying it. Like, it's one of those things that, you know, like like, for example, if Honda, it's kind of like a car company. Maybe somebody's who normally drives a TSX, like an Acura TSX, is saying, I don't like the NSX because it doesn't have back seats, you know? The NSX, you know, like, did it stop you from buying it, or is it just that you don't like it because it wasn't, you know, like the perfect car for you? And it's not, you know, it's the whole reason why there's a whole product line is because there is the right there is a product that works for everybody. And one of the cool things about having new technology on this is that, how it trickles down to the later products as we come. And that new processor on it is going to help us update the product without needing to update the hardware. Meaning, there's going to be updates that come in the following years that don't necessarily mean you have to buy a whole new CDJ.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely cool. Definitely. Yeah. We did get a raid from Mr. Steve Disco Newsom. Appreciate you, fam. Thanks for supporting us and supporting me. If anybody is new and wondering what's going on, the morning show is definitely a talk show, and we have YouTube guy Pre-owned Joni on, and we're talking about DJ related gear. So if it's your thing, thanks for hanging out. If it's not your thing, appreciate it. Maybe next time when I'm DJing later on, you can hit us up there. But we are definitely talking about the CDJ 3000s and a little bit of everything today, as we always do on this channel. So welcome, Raiders, welcome. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. Okay, so now, of course, having said that, I have definitely kept you on for a long, long time.
I didn't even know. I just checked my clock for the first time just now. I'm like, wow, it's 2:20 at my time. I'm like, I thought it's only been an hour.
It does fly by. It flies by.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything else, I'm gonna let you go because I do definitely want to head off myself. I got stuff to do. But if there's anything else you want to say, obviously follow PJ on his YouTube channel. And is it just youtube.com Pre-owned Joni?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, and I know I put it on here, so let me just put that caption back on.
I don't know if you saw my invite, but on you probably read about the whole Facebook cracking down on copyright on DJ live streams.
Correct.
I don't even, only unless I'm playing underground music, I barely even live stream on Facebook these days. But I was talking to a couple of DJ buddies. I was like, wouldn't it be fun if we just, like, one last time on September 30th, we just did a whole, like, one last live stream for Facebook,
We've been talking about that too.
Yeah.
I think on the 30th you're going to see a lot of streams happening.
Yeah. So
it should be fun.
I just wanted to put that out there for the other DJs who who live stream. It'd be fun. It's a Wednesday, so for those who have gigs, Wednesdays usually can be a slow day. Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you do have a gig, live stream your gig.
There you go. Mm-hmm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put the ones in the chat. If you love this conversation today, put the ones in the chat for Pre-owned Joni. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks
you
so
for
much
hanging
for
out
having
today.
me on.
Well, we'll have to get you back on another time.
Sure. And we'll have to have you come on my channel sometime.
Yes, let's definitely do that. Anytime, man. You just let me know.
For sure. Thanks so much, Terry.
All right, buddy.
All
right, talk to you later. All right, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was definitely a fantastic, fantastic interview. Pre-owned Joni is one of the good guys. He's really one of the good guys. So I appreciate him. I appreciate him for coming on. We're still trying to get a couple of other people on that I know I've talked about. SCE events. We're trying to get them on. Maybe they'll come on tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I don't have anybody scheduled for tomorrow just yet. So it'll be an interesting day, to say the least. For everybody else that has been hanging out today, thank you so much. Once again, show started at 9:30, 9:25, and we're about to hit 12:30. They always go later and later, especially when we have interviews, but when they're good, you don't want to end them. You really don't. You just want to have a good time doing it. So, Steve Disco, thank you once again for that raid. I appreciate you, man. We need to raid somebody right now. Let's raid somebody with some energy. Let's get this thing up. So let's take a look at who is on. Sit tight for just a minute. Yeah, that was a great interview. Great interview. Even with all my talking too much. All right, I'm gonna check to see Music Monday. Speaking of OBS, okay, so we have a couple of options here, and I'm gonna let the chat kind of tell me what we're doing here. We can go to Darth Vader. We can go to Zaldi. We can go to Snapback Live. We can go to DJ Unique. I would go to Marco Penta, but it looks like he lost his voice, so that's not going to work. It's the duo. That's another option. Looks like Bono's DJing. I don't know what that is. So throw it in the chat where we should go today. Where should we go? Go. We're not there yet, pal. You know, another one of my DJ people asked me the same thing. It's like, bring me on. At the moment, we are trying to build something bigger. So at the moment, it's going to require having just, you know, kind of top name people right now until it gets to a point where people are just like, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You know, but we're still trying to build that. So let's see what we got here. Thank you so much, Kate. So appreciate that. Xavier Music, what's going on? Once again, today we had 1,000 messages through the chat. 1,000 chat messages. That is super amazing, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Anybody? Darth Vader. I got one for Darth Vader. I got one for Snackback. I got one for DJ Unique. Okay, there's another Unique. All right. Yeah, let's raid my boy Unique this time. Tomorrow, maybe we'll raid Zaldi or our DJ Rafiq. So let's get this raid started. Here's my only rule for the raid. Only rule is you hang out all the way through the raid, and then show your love, throw in their chat exactly what's going on. If you have my emotes, throw those up, and just stay. If it's your vibe, cool. If it's not your vibe, then you can bounce. But we always want to make sure that we keep everybody heading through the raid because that's important. Real quick, for all you people, as I get this thing sorted, him and his DJ Unique. What's that all about? Okay. Before we get this sorted, for anybody that's wondering how to support the channel, how to support what we're doing here, the easiest way to support this, to keep it going, because right now, look, you know, what we're doing here is sources of income. So to keep this channel going, all I need you to do is subscribe, hit that subscribe button. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If you're on YouTube, hit that membership button. It's just like a cup of coffee. You can throw bits, share the channel. That's free. If you are on Amazon Prime, use me as your Amazon Prime sub. I still get the credit for that. But that's the only way we're going to keep this stream going, is by people, you know, putting in the financial help so I can keep this thing going the proper way. So I appreciate everybody's help, and we'll definitely be back tomorrow, same time, 9 o'clock. We are setting up this raid right now. And as soon as we get everybody in, we're going to hit that raid. You guys are always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And I will definitely see you tomorrow. All right, y'all. 57 people. I like that number. Let's hit up Unique. For everybody else that is not on here, if you were on Twitch right now, you'd be going to a super dope DJ, and it'd be a great time. But unfortunately not. So you guys are just going to disappear on us. All right, y'all. Let's start this raid. For everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Let's go.